Crossover. Oh, killer crossover.
Just crossover.
It just crossed him over nastily.
Another victim to the crossovers. Cross him up and sit him down.
It is time for the crossover. It is brought to you by Everlevel Concrete Repair in Omaha at everlevelconcrete.com.
Happy New Year.
Wow. Already. We're going on trial today. On trial.
Okay, so people that just listen to the end of our show know the backstory of what's coming up here. I am not a prosecuting attorney, but I think I did will you admit that I did a really good job this morning of presenting the case? Austin comes in.
It was 4 hours today of you just putting my feet to the fire and trying to get me to pay you for doing something that I didn't do.
So what did you not do, Matt?
I did not leave the white monster in the bathroom. Okay? I didn't.
That's not a euphemism.
This is White Monster Gate.
So what you have encountered right now is you've been trying to battle against Harvey Specter. And then Mike Ross just walked into the studio, and while Harvey sets everything up, Mike Ross just came in, and before we went on air, basically you admitted guilt.
You had an admission of guilt. You said, this is how it went. You said, I got into my car and there was a can of White Monster, which, to be fair, might not have been mine. And so then I asked, could there be a possibility that White Monster had been there before?
No, this is not true. This is not true. Here's what happened. I walk out of the office, okay? I go to my car. I open up my car door, and I have two bottles. I have my Gatorade bottle, which I always have every single day.
Gatorade.
And I have my White Monster energy drink. When I got to my car, there was a Chipotle cup that had water in it, and there was a Casey's iced coffee, okay?
Okay.
In my cup holder. I take the Chipotle cup, I dump it out, I put my Gatorade in the cup holder.
Okay.
I have my White Monster energy drink. I dump it out, I crumple it up, and I put it in the little panel in between, in the door panel. It's still in the door panel. If you went to my car, you would see the White Monster in the door panel.
So it was not open.
No, it was mine that I had brought from inside the office to my car. Okay, I had it the entire time.
And this is Thursday. This is Thursday's White Monster.
This is Thursday's White Monster. This is the White Monster. I'm walking out of 1620 The Zone with a White Monster energy drink. Okay. So this is why I keep saying I didn't do it, because I walked out of the office.
But there's no possibility that there could have been a second White Monster?
I don't know.
I think there might have been, because you remember when you were going to stop in the break room to get something out of the fridge.
You do love that fridge.
I've never gotten two White Monster energy drinks. One White Monster energy drink already gives me a heart attack. I barely even finish it, which is why I had to dump it out and crumple it up. This is my defense. This is actually what happened. This is why I keep telling you I did not do it, because I had to dump out the White Monster energy drink because I had two drinks in my hand and I had to make room for it.
So you have never once in your entirety of a career here at 1620 The Zone and NRG Media, you have not consumed two White Monster energy drinks.
Never.
You have not.
No.
Okay. All right. Ever. You're willing to put that and testify?
Yes.
Okay.
I am testifying that I never have had two White Monster energy drinks.
But it was pretty self-incriminating what you got him to admit before we went on.
It was bad.
Yeah.
Now he's doubled back pretty well in terms of the court of public opinion, but that was a damning piece of evidence we had just a minute ago.
Well,
and you put both palms up to the sky. You were willing to concede.
I was not willing to concede.
You were not even convinced yourself that it was not your White Monster energy drink.
Can I be honest with you?
You had to get the crossover music to go, so that way you had time to build up a new story.
Can I be honest with you? I'm gonna be real with you. Is there part of me that's thinking who else would get White Monster, take it to the bathroom and leave it on the sink? Yeah, okay. I don't know who else would do that other than the person who's done it before. But I'm telling you right now, I went into my car and I had to dump out this. The only reason I know why I didn't do it is because I know that I had to dump out a White Monster energy drink when I entered my car.
Parking lot as well?
Oh,
well, I just
Matt, double jeopardy. Hate
double
that.
Liquid. Look, if you're saying that you're Mr. Harvey Specter wouldn't give me a settlement that's 25% of what it was. If you're really Harvey Specter, we would have gone to trial, or my settlement would have been 95%.
Matt, so to continue peeling back this onion a little bit, I did post this at 11 or so yesterday. It was fairly early. You had a zoo trip. You had plenty of walking time alone, I assume. You could have built up an entire social media case and really presented the facts before you ever got here at 6 a.m. this morning.
But the facts, here's the thing. There doesn't need to be a defense because I am being completely honest. I walked to my car and I dumped out my White Monster energy drink and I put it in the little panel and I had to clear. There's nothing more than that. There's no case to be built. I walked to my car with a Gatorade and a White Monster energy drink.
But you have no witnesses.
Yeah, that is
we can look at the camera.
Where is your alibi?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, let's look at the camera.
Let's look at the camera, and the camera would clearly have me walking out with two things in my hand.
Again, but you had a little under 24 hours.
Also,
to look at
I
the
did
camera
not wash
yourself.
my hands after I used the bathroom, so I didn't put anything down on the sink.
Wow. Okay.
Hey, just plead no contest, and we can move on.
And I don't have to pay you $100.
You have to pay me.
I'm not going to
just
pay
settle.
you.
But you said I'm not guilty, but I might be guilty.
Oh,
I never said I might be guilty. It's just part of me.
Okay, let's take this completely to court. All right, take it 1620 to court.
We're in court. All right.
How do you plead? How do you plead?
Not guilty.
You're okay, not guilty. All right. So
I plead not guilty.
All right, these damages are going to come down hard on young Matt McMaster. We're going to be tough.
I had so many deals for you today, and your chance.
Not a joke.
Make a deal.
There was payment plans. There were settlements.
It's only $100.
It's only $100.
You spent that yesterday at the zoo.
I spent like 50.
You got crab rangoon at the zoo?
Yeah, it was
that
awesome.
was sick.
It
looked great.
That was
really
good.
That was
Dude,
really
the
good.
Sweet chili sauce there, like some of the best sweet chili sauce I've had.
So while you're munching on sweet chili sauce, it never occurred to you, I should probably start thinking of like alibis
what do you mean,
and other stuff.
Thinking of alibi, like I have.
You knew you were in trouble the minute I sent that tweet out because
he enjoyed his last day of freedom.
Look, yes, I could easily pay.
You replied
Gary.
within 45 seconds of that tweet going out.
Let me tell you.
So
something.
is this about
yeah?
the
Because I freaked out because I knew the bet. I knew what would come after.
Did you
it.
like how I tagged every inch
Yes,
of 1620?
Dude, part of me when I saw the tweet was like, don't tag Gary. Maybe Gary misses it. Maybe Gary doesn't see it. Oh,
well, at first I did consider because I was like, I could just send this to Gary like directly.
You should have seen the eating grin that Gary walked into the studio today. You should have seen I've never seen
because it was kind
more.
of a joke at the beginning of, hey, let's just do a bet. Because he was upset the previous time that he did it.
Yes.
And he's not as upset this time because now he's more defensive.
Because I didn't do it. Okay? Look, you can say what you want about Matt McMaster.
Mm-hmm.
I have made mistakes here at
Okay.
1620 Design. Okay? I have. But
Can you name a few of them?
I showed up late to work one day. So I'm an hour late to my own show. I left my keys in Connor Happer's car.
Nice.
I have even before. So here's the thing. The original problem was I would just leave crap here.
Right.
And Josh Peterson would have to pick it up.
Mm.
I've since not done that. I've had to,
I think you're missing one. I know of one.
What did I do?
You've been leaving white monsters in the bathroom.
That's another one.
Mm.
Like,
So is this
so
about,
of all those
is this
mistakes,
about the $100 or is it about the?
more about the character thing.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
I really I hate that I keep making these little kid mistakes and we get to keep making these little kid jokes because I would like to grow as a human. And
so
be
really
a grown up.
So what if your punishment, just to better help yourself, right, and get past this mental block, if you financially were burdened and had to pay your good friend Gary the money?
But that was the point. The point was that the hanging over of $100 of my head, which $100 for me. I mean, it's not going to break the bank, but it definitely that's a nice round of golf.
Well, Gary, let's hear the new deals. Can we hear some of the new deals that were offered?
Here's the thing. He gave me a sweetheart deal right before he walked in the studio.
Okay.
I'll tell you what he offered me. He goes, you can give me $25 right now. And we won't even do it on the crossover. We won't even talk about, we won't do nothing.
Yeah, we could stop right now, $25.
And I said no, because giving you money would be an admission of guilt. And I am not admitting that like I told you guys, I went to my car. And so when you sent that tweet, I was like, oh my God, I can't believe this happened because I dumped out.
I was so careful.
Yeah.
Do you think you would have taken a picture of the extra?
See, this is what I'm saying.
I could go to my car right now.
No, that's
take a picture of it being in my panel. So yeah,
but again, but that proves
nothing.
nothing. That just proves that you could leave white monsters literally anywhere.
Do you know that I woke up just randomly today at 3:25 in the morning, and I freaked out and I sprinted to the kitchen
because you thought there was a white monster in your bathroom.
No, because I thought that it was 8 o'clock and I missed my show.
Oh no.
Okay. All right. Like there have been multiple times where I told Gary this off air. I'll admit it on air. I took a nap. Okay, after a show. It was like a 2-hour nap. It was a deep sleep nap.
Nice.
And it was such a good sleep that I thought it was the next morning.
Nice. I do love those naps.
And I looked at the timer. I looked at what time it was, and it was 2:00. And I thought that I had slept all the way till 2:00 the next morning and had completely missed my show.
That's incredible. That's very cool.
And I flipped out. I freaked out. My roommate was like, "What is wrong with you? What is going on?" I go and miss my show. He goes, "What day do you think it is?" But I go, "It's Tuesday." He goes,
but again,
"Dude, it's still Monday."
My mother's a psychologist, and she would tell me that sometimes you need to, give up a certain things. That way you don't make the same mistake again. Because right now, this bet and gambling is hanging over your head. And until you are reprimanded, essentially, you just need to be money spanked by Gary. That's what you need.
I love Austin.
See? I think, and it doesn't have to be the full amount. I think Gary can propose maybe a new rendition. So that way you can still keep the thought process of you wanting to be able to, keep this, honor and integrity that you're building in your character and such.
I can't stand you. You know that?
What do you mean?
I can't stand you.
I'm trying to defend both of you. I'm trying to help you become a better person that you want to grow to be.
I do.
And I want Gary to get some money today.
Look,
I will not leave this crossover until Gary gets some money.
I will say this. The bet came from a good place from Gary.
Yeah.
Gary,
I was just trying to help him.
Gary saw how just upset I was that I kept making these the missing an hour of your show is a minimal mistake, but these other minimal mistakes that I've made.
Might have been 120, but
that's all right.
I got here at 7. I saw the light on. I knew to respect the light. I didn't want to walk in and interrupt you during the segment. Anyway, I don't want to give him $100 because I didn't do it.
Gary, can we try to find like a rash like center in this?
Yeah, so I said give me 20 today, and then we'll figure out the other 80. But
see, I don't like when you figure out the other 80.
I do like how that hangs over.
What the hell is that BS?
Great.
Because,
that's beautiful.
Because the rest, knowing him, we all know him well. The time he's just gonna keep saying, "Oh, you owe me $80. Remember the $80 you owe
Matt,
me?
if you give me $20 right now, I will not talk about the White Monster ever again.
That's not gonna do anything because
it'll help you right now.
If you give him 20 and give me 30, this is over.
Bang. Look at that. Then it's done.
Hell
then you're
no.
good.
You
Absolutely
got my Venmo. I logged in and sent it to you.
Yeah,
I'll send you mine later.
He had to go to his AOL account to make sure that his Venmo was ready and running.
Hey, listen, Gary's not on trial for being old right now, right?
Okay.
You're on trial
That's
for making sure that
no, he's on trial for that every day. I mean, and I'm on trial currently right now for something that I did not do.
Okay, so far, again, in 1620, the court.
This is an incredible attorney that I've got with me here.
So your main argument is, no, I had a monster in my car.
No, I had a monster in my hand when I walked out of the station with a monster.
Okay.
Did anybody see you?
There's a camera in the walkway.
And did you look at the camera before you entered today's crossover?
What? I don't have access.
Oh, you don't.
But don't you?
But there's no one you could talk to or ask.
Would be like, hey, I got to back it up so I can
look. If we want to play that game, you want to play that game.
Yeah, let's play that game.
Is there any evidence of me walking into the bathroom with a white monster?
No, it'd be illegal to have a camera.
Is there anybody?
In the
is there anybody who's seen me walk into the bathroom with a white monster?
No, but the fact that you have admitted that you've done this before, really hurts your cause.
Okay,
that's really tough,
is there any video evidence of me walking out of the bathroom without a white monster?
No,
evidence of me walking in?
But
with
again,
a
your admission of guilt is enough to publicly
admission of guilt of what? That I've done it in the past?
Yes.
That's just because
you're right. Repeat offenders are never brought back into court. That's crazy. That would never happen.
Just because I stole one thing one time doesn't mean the next time that's
hold on. You're stealing these white monsters as well?
No.
Oh, Matt. Oh, now we're talking about something else completely.
20 to Austin, 30 to me, and we never talk about this again.
I'm not doing
that's just my attorney fee. So it's not it's really you're paying Gary.
Okay, so I'll even take it. So Austin's done a great job. 20 to Austin. 10 to Josh because he's had to put up with it. Another 20 to me, and we're done.
No deal.
Okay. All right.
Cody says he might have gotten to this. He says, my opinion on the monster. Matt had a monster left on his desk from Wednesday and took that one to his car, and the one in the bathroom was from the studio on Thursday's show.
Interesting. How many times do you go to the bathroom during the show?
Today, 0.
Oh, today. What about yesterday? Do you remember?
0.
You're positive it was 0.
I went to the bathroom after I did go to the bathroom.
Oh, so it's not 0. So he can lie about anything. He seems to remember his Thursday activities pretty well.
The clerk could go back and restate the question. How many times did you go during yesterday's show? You didn't say after the show. You said during yesterday's show. During yesterday's show, I went 0. After the show, I went once. So there you go. Me saying I'm a liar. No, I just answered your question correctly.
Interesting. It's funny how you try to spin that.
Not spin that. I just restated what you
Interesting.
said.
Are you ready to rule, Austin?
Yes, this kangaroo court is ready.
Okay.
We're ready for this.
Hey, this is real.
I ain't paying you crap.
What if we can come to some sort of settlement? How about this? How about this?
I already gave him a settlement.
What was the settlement?
I told him I'd buy him an Osted's gift card.
Have you bought the Ostad gift card yet?
I will buy his Ostad
No, I
gift
need
card.
something. I need something now. Can you send him a Venmo of some sort of amount, not equaling $100?
A show of good faith.
Yes, a show of good
All right,
faith.
you know what,
please.
Gary? I will Venmo you $25.
Whoa.
Oh,
and I
okay.
will, and
We'll
I
figure out the
and
other
I will
75.
also no. If
No, that deal is done.
if I send
Harvey and Mike are.
I will send you $25. Okay, I will bring the coffee that I owe you.
What? How much do you owe Gary?
A lot. If we're being honest, this
Wow.
job too.
See, it doesn't. Hey, it doesn't help his cause because I'm like, you know what? If you're like a defense, like we still have some things that are outstanding.
That is true.
He's like, I know.
I will-
I know.
Is that your impression of me?
You're like, oh gosh.
All right, let's get the phone out.
25. My phone's dead.
No, you can't do
No,
this.
it is.
Oh.
It is. There's no way.
It actually, the phone is dead, but I taught him how to get on to Venmo on the internet.
Oh,
I will
yes,
send you-
please
I
get
will-
on-
I will send you $25.
Yep.
I will bring you coffee and a pastry of your choice on Monday.
Oh, I like this.
Okay, that's what I was saying.
All right.
And this is not me admitting that I was guilty, admitting that I lied at any point, because I am telling the absolute truth of what happened with the white monster. Take this as I'm grateful to be your partner.
Okay.
And here is a gift.
All right.
Okay.
Hand me a piece of paper or something from back there, because I
Okay.
want to make sure that we
So
get this written.
also, with court costs, you owe Austin 15.
I don't. Oh, what do you mean you owe Austin?
How do I owe Austin?
Because he ain't my lawyer. He was the lawyer against me.
He's the judge. You don't go to court and pay the judge.
I ain't paying Austin crap. Austin ain't getting a red dime.
Austin.
So I don't have. Does anyone have a pen in this? I thought I had a pen. in
I
my
got a
hand.
pen right here.
Oh,
I got a
thank
pen.
you.
There you
Yes,
go.
appreciate this. Okay. All right. So I'm
And
gonna have you sign
I'm now
this.
out $25.
Well, not yet. Not until I want you to sign this and then show it. How do you spell your name, Matt? Not McCaster. That's wrong. Matt McMaster. Will Venmo. Do you want any adjectives in front of your name?
No.
Okay, I was gonna put
Just
like
keep
my
it
good
simple.
friend, Gary
Your client.
Sharp. Would you agree? $25
$25,
and
coffee,
will provide
and a pastry.
Now,
coffee
will
Now-
the
and pastry for Monday morning show. Correct.
now where will the other 75 go?
No. The other 75.
This is a show of good faith.
I don't know that I'm going to sign this.
The other 75. This is a settlement. You don't get the other 75.
No, this is more of a Matt McMaster. I just want to see what he says. If we can get his signature on here, and then I want you to show it to the camera.
Ben thinks we're extorting.
Here you
him.
go. Would you sign that? Show it to camera, please.
I have to charge my phone.
Oh, so now you have to charge your phone.
Because I have to get the login code.
Okay, all right.
Double
All right.
factor authentication.
Let's
I'll
talk about
sign it.
something
I'll sign
different.
this.
Yeah.
I'll
So
sign it.
hey, high
All right.
school football was great yesterday.
Give me the contract.
It was.
Okay, please.
It was.
I need to move on from this topic.
Yes.
So yeah.
Hey, did you see that? So the $5 bits of broken chair trophy is up tonight.
Yes.
Did
Yeah.
you see the rule acknowledged it?
Yeah. That's the
Oh,
first time a
no.
coach has actually acknowledged it, right?
They tried to give it to Riley, and he didn't know
Yeah.
what it was.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right. Okay. So before we move on, Josh, so
Yeah.
we do have signature from Matt McMaster. Will you put this on screen? Okay. So this is an admission, and we have assigned that Matt McMaster will Venmo Gary Sharp $25 and will provide a coffee and pastry for Monday morning show in 1620 The Zone. Matt, thank you for agreeing. Gary, it's been a pleasure.
Now, can I ask a question?
Yes.
What happens if that doesn't happen?
Well,
Will there be a warrant?
Right to jail.
right to jail. Yes, correct. So is this a great time to tell you guys that I planted the white monster and took the picture myself? Completely independently of Gary, without his knowledge, without anyone knowing about it.
He didn't know there was a wager.
I took it upon myself just to plant the thing yesterday.
You ruined my day. You ruined my entire day. My entire day this whole time has been Gary just being like 80, 20, 50. Like, I wanted to talk about some sports. I want to talk about high school football. I want to talk about some certain
$5.
things. And I stood
I got you to
tall.
write it.
I stood tall for so long. Yeah, can we admit that I stood tall
We did
the
not
entire
break
time.
you until 10:15.
Is there nothing better for you though that knowing that you did you didn't leave a monster in the bathroom? Matt, you did it. Very good. We're so proud.
Because here's another thing, just this entire time, like here's why I needed to sign that contract though. I'll tell you exactly why I needed to sign this contract. I needed to sign this contract because you were never going to admit it. You were never going to say that you planted the white monster. You were never going to say that you started the joke. You would have stood the entire time and knew that I was suffering. And then this ragamuffin over here would have known with full knowledge, knowing that you planted that white monster.
I had no idea.
He would have the entire time.
I had no idea.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday would have continued to say, you owe me $100. You owe me $100. The $100 you owe me. $100 you owe me. And then there would have been this controversy as well. There would have been this controversy that and this. By the way, this notion that Matt McMaster doesn't pay up his bets. Matt McMaster doesn't pay up his bets. Matt McMaster isn't loyal. Matt McMaster can't be trusted. So I had to sign that contract because if I didn't sign that contract, everybody would have called me like, "Get that monster out of my face! Get it out of my face!
Hey,
get it out of my face!"
Is your phone charged enough now to send me $25? This is a legal binding contract.
This is bullying.
We have comments on the YouTube chat. This one from Connor Happer.
Oh, hi, Connor.
Wait a minute. Austin planted the white monster? Yes, Connor. It was a bit.
You know how close I was to sending him $100 this morning?
I wish you
Do you know? Do you know?
And you know what would have happened?
Close?
We would not have talked about this at all.
We know.
Oh,
Do you know he
that would have been even better, honestly. Just to,
he
I would have
literally-
told you years, like I would have told you at OBV when you're at the College World Series and it's like 2 p.m. and you're sweating. It's the worst. It's 93 degrees. I would have said, Matt, remember when you said Gary?
Do you know also too? He goes, are you calling Austin a liar? He goes, are you calling Austin a liar? And I go, no, I'm not calling Austin a liar. I wouldn't call Austin a liar.
By the way, I gave you so many awards
He goes,
from UNK
yeah.
and
He goes, do you know how much money that Austin raised for that one cancer patient?
Yeah.
You think that Austin would do such a thing? I go, at one point, I told Gary, I said, I don't really know him that well, so I don't really know if you would do that. I just like talking to him on the radio. You suck. You know that? You suck. You don't know what you did. You don't know what you did. You thought you don't understand how, because over there with your TikTok hands and everything like that, you don't understand how deep some of this stuff runs. All right. You don't understand the passion and the things that go in with this crew. Right. Because you filling in, you thought, oh, I'm going to make a funny joke or I'm going to continue with the bit. You don't know the damage you did yesterday. The damage you did.
Is this your villain origin story?
I can never trust a human ever again. I liked you. I asked you to fill in with me. I almost stayed here for 4 more hours yesterday to host with you, to have a good time. And this is what you do. This is how you repay me. Now I got to pay him $25 and bring in a coffee.
And a pastry.
And a pastry, yeah. Can I just quickly applaud Matt for not swearing?
That was impressive.
I probably would have sworn by now at this point.
And I stood tall. I knew I didn't do it. I knew I did. You had me doubting myself. You had me doubting. I go, I don't know how else.
Maybe I did do it.
Yes, that's why I said right before we went on air. To my knowledge, I didn't know. Because I was like, who else would bring a white monster? And by the way, you sneaky son of a gun, you put it in the exact spot in the sink that I always put it in.
Yeah,
and
you don't think I paid attention?
It's in that right corner. I always put it in the right corner. You put it right in the right corner. And Gary was like, who else would put it in the right corner? Because Gary knows too, there's a specific spot.
The best part about this whole thing is that, what was it, like 9:52 yesterday, right before we walked in here, Nick and Josh are sitting back there in the producer room, and I go hang out with them before we come on here when I fill in. I just go, should I just plant this monster in the bathroom later today?
We didn't stop him.
Well, I'm sure Nick didn't say anything. Nick doesn't have an opinion on it.
Oh, so good.
I think everything that airs the rest of the day on 1620 is irrelevant.
Is there a football game tonight?
Is there a basketball game?
There's nothing more important than what just happened. Matt, are you gonna like?
I'm gonna hit you.
Are you gonna set up a boxing? Like, are you and Bud gonna go out and get your anger out?
What do you mean? You, me, and Bud, me and you. I'll fight you.
Hey, can you at least
That'd
can you at least high five him for the creativity?
Shake my.
Wow.
That was big of you. That was big of you.
It was a good prank. It was very calculated. It was very well done.
I just like the fact that
I get you so many gifts. You know that? I got you a golf
Well,
towel.
it does sound like you owe him a lot.
Golf towel.
But you signed the contract.
You'll get you $25.
Okay. Is your phone charged yet?
It's charged. Here we go.
Oh,
I'm logging in. Here we go.
I've had a lot of fun crossovers, but this has been one of my favorites.
Here we go.
And
by the way, Gary,
about this is I did not know this was a bit.
Yeah, sorry to leave you in the dark, Gary, but
by the way,
this
really is an episode of Suits where it's like Mike and Harvey actually did do something like illegal. And they were like, but we got the job done, so it doesn't matter. And nobody knew that we did something illegal.
Dave Fight asked, does 1620 have a flagpole? If so, stuff's going to go down after school.
Going to my Venmo.
Oh, Matt. Oh. Hey, at least I'm glad you got all that frustration out. This was
I'm just
free
glad
therapy for you.
I'm just
this
glad
is free therapy.
that everybody knows that, you know what? The point of Gary and I's bet, which I guess is still on technically,
Yeah.
the $100.
No,
Yeah.
The point of the bet was for me to no longer do that and to grow and to be better. And
yes,
I've done that. I
you
did
have.
exactly that.
Way to
And I
be.
still lost money.
You know what, Matt? Here's the best part for you too, is that
I'll stop
and
yelling.
you said it as well, that you can never trust me again. No one ever can pull this prank on you again. So that's out of the realm of possibility. Did you ever consider making this bet that someone could prank you from the outside?
No, I didn't. And I didn't think that this bet would become, I thought this bet was going to be kind of a silent thing between Gary and I that we like sometimes joke about. And we've kind of dropped some tea leaves about the bet on the show. Like,
yeah,
Gary will be like, you just went to the bathroom. You have your monster. I'll be like, yeah.
Plaquet's asking if we're going to have fight at Mount Happer.
It's Mount McMaster.
Oh, okay.
That's coming back too. Gary Dash. Why do you have so many dashes in your?
It's his Xbox handle.
Well, I asked him. There's a specific number that he has on his Venmo.
I just had to sign up for Venmo.
Yeah,
6969.
Nice, Gary.
So,
Just assumed.
No, it's
also shout out the people in chat who did say right in the middle of Matt I was trying to get Matt to sign the paperwork, and people were going, I think Austin might have planted this, and I was begging. I was like, Matt, do not look at the chat.
Don't look at the chat.
You might be in the wrong business. You deserve an award for that.
Thank you.
Hey, Matthew McMaster paid you $25. Screw you.
Good note.
what pastry do you want on Monday?
Thank you.
Yeah, you Bear Claw guys, cinnamon roll.
Ooh, Bear Claws are very good.
They are,
but they're easily one of the most just like messy ridden pastries you could possibly have. That and a very flaky croissant. You have to be careful with those things.
You better have your hat on the swivel today.
Why? I'm going to be in this studio the whole time.
You might get.
What are you going to Kenny Bell me when I walk out of here?
This a guy looking like Tony Soprano might show up.
What if
we're here for a rap problem?
Am I going to get sopranoed where the music just cuts off right in the middle of dinner?
All of a sudden, you're going to be having dinner tonight with your fiance, and all of a sudden,
we do have dinner plans. You want me to tell you where? I'll order the onion. I'll order the onion rings for the table. I'll do it.
You eat, I pay.
It's Don't Stop Believing that plays in that scene, right?
Yeah, all of a sudden the jukebox is going to turn on, the lights are going to go dark.
If the jukebox turns on, I will walk out.
That would be a great bit.
Where are you eating tonight?
I don't know. Oh. She's having a resident dinner, so I've asked her for 2 straight days. Hey, can you tell me where we're going? Because I'm supposed to meet her there, and she has yet to tell me. So it's a big surprise. Have you set this up? Are you double playing me on my own bit?
Man. I would just get the steak and Fritz tonight if I were you.
Okay.
I heard they got good wine there.
Drink the wine.
Or don't.
Order a bottle.
I don't know. Have some fun. Might be the last time you have it.
Matt, how can I make this up to you? How can I repair our friendship?
You know what? I love good radio, so I mean,
I do owe you. That was emotional torture I put you through somehow, some way.
It sucked. It was literally 4 hours of Gary today. Like every time we went off the air, he was trying to get more. And at one point I go, I know you're hustling me. I'm not going to do this. Like I know I'm getting hustled because I know that I walked to my car and I had the white monster. And I know that I poured it out. And,
to be fair, I didn't know this was a bit.
That
so
is
I
true.
wasn't in on this.
Maybe I should have caught on to the fact that I told you both. It's literally in my car, like the crumpled up bottle, and you guys, we don't care. We don't care if that's fair. Maybe that should have been a warning sign.
Maybe this could be a lesson to everyone about our criminal justice system as well. Maybe if someone says they didn't do it.
Isn't this how to catch a murderer? Like, isn't that the start? They made the kid sign the paper at 18 admitting that this is My Cousin Vinny.
Coerced confessions.
They bring them in, they stole a can of tuna. They said, "Why'd you do it?" They go, "Oh, we didn't think it was a big deal." And all of a sudden they're in a murder trial. I just lived that. Unfortunately, Vinny was the bad guy. He wasn't on my team.
The only thing
and
that would have made
Josh Hodgson, you sat there the entire time. And you knew it. You knew what happened. You knew what happened, and you could have easily stopped it all. And you could have easily looked at Austin and said, "You know what? This has gone too far. This has gone way too far." Matt clearly is upset. Matt clearly didn't do anything wrong. He knows he didn't do anything wrong. What did you do?
Got a text at 9:58 from Austin. When do I pull back the curtain, or do I? I replied, at the end of the crossover or White Monster discussion, whichever comes first.
And so that's when I decided when we had texted about the White Monster discussion that my end goal was to get Gary some form of money. And so when that came across, that's when I was like, all right, time to.
I know your kids, Josh. I know your kid.
That's
I got one.
I played. No. I played with his. I'm saying that I made a great relationship with him.
Yeah.
That
he's not threatening my child. Just
hold on. Your anger towards Josh that's unwarranted. It should be directly.
I have a lot of anger towards Josh.
To be fair, Josh was also in the bathroom the same time I took.
I know.
He was.
Oh, you knew that?
Well, no, I'm sure I know he was along with it. I'm just saying I've created such a great relationship with Josh and Josh's family is what I'm trying to say here.
It's true.
Right? And I feel betrayed.
I believe my wife adopted you.
I actually get some very nice notes being like, "Hey, how you doing? Are you hanging in there? Whatever. Make sure you."
My wife does text them a lot.
Yeah.
Like,
ooh. Whoa.
Yeah.
No. Very, very like when I miss my show, I got a very, "Hey kid, don't beat yourself up about it. It's okay."
Do you think she'll text you after this?
I don't know.
I don't know. Question. Is she listening? She's off work today.
She's probably like her opinion has changed now.
Her opinion of me has probably changed. That's for sure.
The white Bronco has been replaced with a white monster.
All right, that's a good line.
Now remember, I wasn't in on this bit.
Yeah,
I think I between 8:30 and 9 off air had Matt like on the ropes. Like I had like we were having.
We were close.
Yeah, I was playing the role of an attorney, and he was like, I think there was some second guessing.
I was really close to paying him $50 and just being like, it'll all go away. Because I was just like, $50 is whatever.
But imagine, I mean, like we got great content out of it. Like you said, you love great radio. I mean, good thing you didn't pay him the $50.
Look, he said, like I told you before, he goes, $25 right now. I won't even say a word to Austin about. We won't even talk about it. We'll just go.
So close.
Just give me 25 right now. And I go, you know what? I'm not guilty. I didn't do anything wrong. I know that I went into the car and I had the white monster and I poured it out, which is why when you sent that picture, I told you my heart dropped because I was like, that can't be. But at the same time, who else would leave a white? But I mean, I trusted you too much. You were a friend. All right.
I am your friend.
Yeah, you're not my friend.
Friends are the ones that can
barely
hurt you the
know
most,
you.
Matt.
I barely know you.
Friends are the ones that can hurt you the most, much like PJ Fleck. He can only hurt. All right. What a crossover, you guys.
That is
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy to be here.
$25. Good job.
Yes. Hey.
Yeah, hey.
Nice job.
Happy to do it, sir.
Aren't you my co-host? Aren't you supposed to be Team Matt? Aren't you supposed to be Team McMaster?
Yeah, but I said thank you for the 25. Did you not hear that?
Yeah, I gave you
And
money.
the pastry. Don't forget the pastry.
Oh, and the coffee. The coffee, yeah.
And the
How do you take your coffee?
just black.
Okay.
Yeah. And then also the lunch at Drover. But that's way back.
Drover lunch.
That's from like the second day.
Matt, you're not going to let this carry over into Big Red Overreaction tonight, are you?
No, because knowing my co-host, he's probably not going to talk about anything other than this today. Like that's all he's going to talk about.
Don't leave your Popeyes in
because
the
it's like Josh.
Yeah.
No. Because Josh finds one joke and then he just relays that joke for a couple of hours, which happened last.
Well, you guys are going to have a big win to talk about, so.
Just don't do the other,
and by the way,
do the other thing that gets talked
by the
about.
way, yeah. Did Josh Peterson just catch a stray? Damn right he did. Everybody can catch a stray. All right? Everybody can get shot at. I don't give a damn. All right?
Matt,
I don't care.
Matt, when you get a chance.
I do not care.
Producer Josh is on an all-time meme run as well. He is crushing it.
I don't give two flying you-know-whats about who's hurt by my words, all right? I've been teed off to the point where I don't care anymore.
Ryan also tweets, this post will be referenced on Omaha Sports Radio for decades.
Wow.
This is perfect. All right, Matt, I'm going to let you out. We got to let you out.
You became immortal today.
They'll be talking about the McMonster for years to come.
The McMonster. I like that.
That sounds like one of those custom sandwiches at McDonald's.
Do you know what $25 can get me? That can get me like 6 Chick-fil-A sandwiches.
So can I ask
how much of the zoo
question?
Get you?
A ticket.
How many crab rangoons?
6. They're only $4.95.
Can I ask
or 5. They're only $4.95.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yeah.
So does this mean that I don't get the other 75?
No, we're done. That's it. We're done.
Was it worth it?
Yeah, what do you mean was it worth it? He got as opposed to 0, which he would have gotten because I was growing up, and I was becoming a grown up and actually taking care of myself and picking things up. Yesterday, what I did yesterday? I moved my place around and I rebuilt my bed. My bed was breaking, and do you know what I said? You know what? I'm gonna fix it. So I got some nails and extra wood, and now my bed is actually like fixed and stable. And it hadn't been for 10 months.
Way to lay wood in your bed. That's very good for you.
I vacuumed the place. I mopped the place. I went on a workout. It was great. I'm making strides. And what do? You just slap me in the face.
So I'm not getting the extra 75?
Screw your bear claw.
All right. That's a crossover powered by Every Level Concrete Repair. No mind, everylevelconcrete.com. Connor Happer Show and less Monster Talks coming up next on 1620 The Zone.
That's the crossover. The Connor Happer Show is next on 1620 The Zone.
Impact weather for your Friday with a chance of spotty thunder showers through the morning, drying out in the afternoon. Mild today with a high of 76, but breezy. South then westerly wind gusts possible up to 20 miles an hour. Tonight, staying mostly clear. Good viewing conditions for the Lemon Comet and our meteor showers. A low of 50 with light winds. I'm meteorologist Caitlin Harvey with KETV Newswatch 7.
Get into Prairie Flower Casino and get in the game. Prairie Flower has hundreds of the hottest slot machines along with the PFC Sportsbook and your favorite live table games. Looking for a bite and a beverage? You'll love all our options, including Sky Bar and Grill with nonstop sports on our wall-to-wall TVs and the friendly service you know and love. Play longer, win more at Prairie Flower Casino, just minutes north of downtown Omaha. Must be 21. Please bet responsibly. It's the Connor Happer Show. Are we sure we want to do this?
Could you, make an announcement that we're ready?
It's the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
All right, out of 1620 The Court and into the Connor Happer Show. I'm in for Happer today, Austin Jacobsen. I don't think I think maybe the trust is only broken with one young Matt McMaster. I think that's it. I don't believe I've broken the trust of everyone else here at 1620. So.
No, if anything, you've made yourself greater in the eyes of everyone else at 1620 The Zone.
Thank you. I
received a text from someone. I'll keep that person anonymous.
Okay.
I want to get the wording exactly right. Holy bleep, that's amazing. Hire him immediately.
I love it.
Yeah.
I'm trying my best here. I'm trying my best to provide for the people because it's Friday night football. Football is on the air and on the road tonight for Nebraska football. And we're going to talk about plenty of football. In fact, we're going to put everything that happened in the first half hour of the show behind us. And we're going to focus solely on one PJ Fleck. And we're going to provide you with all the content you need. And we'll talk a little bit about Smokin' Cignetti. New hot contract came off the press yesterday. Good for him. Good for that young man. He's only, like 64? He's got plenty of years left to spend all those millions of dollars. I think that's always an underrated part of it because obviously it's generational wealth. You're going to pass it on to somebody else. But if you are of a certain age, you're 72, 73, do you really need $94 million? What are you going to do with $94 million at that age?
Okay, I hadn't thought of that.
Obviously, you would pass it on to someone else. But someone like Matt Rule, if his $7 million is, fun for him right now. He's got kids. He's going to do a lot of stuff with it, right? He's going to do his own thing. But at what point do you get to a certain age when that money's just not fun anymore? Or maybe it doesn't happen. I don't know. I don't have that problem. I don't make that kind of money, and I'm much younger. We'll also talk with Bryan Munson of Husker Online, some recruiting conversations. A lot of interesting stuff that came out over the past 24 to 36 hours with Trey Taylor. More Nebraska targets from old commitments from other Big Ten schools. Interesting stuff there. We will talk with Brian Christopherson as well as he does a radio hit inside of a car with other Husker 24/7 folks.
Wow, what could go wrong?
What are the chances, we could make him maybe break off his thought process leading into this Nebraska football preview, and or B, we get him to just go on speakerphone and we could get all three of the Husker 24/7 guys at the same time.
Oh, well, never hurts to ask.
Right, yeah. So that's what we'll do. We'll have Odd News with Odd's son as well. Didn't get to this yesterday. If we get some time, it is an underrated slate of college football quarterback matchups. And looking at this more, getting into some more of the numbers of it as well. Good quarterback matchups do not necessarily mean great games, but I think that there could be some fun, especially if you are a team and a fan of an NFL franchise that's looking for maybe that next up-and-coming quarterback. This might be your weekend to start peeking into that window, especially if you think you may have one of those top picks heading into next year. We will do a brief Minnesota history lesson, some very intriguing stuff from the 19 teens. So good stuff going on there. Keys to the game for tonight's matchup between Nebraska and Minnesota. Steven M Sipple of Husker Online will join us at 1. And, of course, we'll wrap up with our football predictions, Josh Hodgson's hype speech, poll questions, and what to watch for tonight and the weekend. Good stuff. Good stuff.
A lot to do.
A lot to do. So, yeah, probably shouldn't have spent that long of a crossover, but, how could you not? How could you not?
In 4 hours, what are people going to remember? They're going to remember the monster prank.
Right. That we are. Oh, just a reminder, too, as we are running down not only this show, but a lot of stuff happening on 1620 The Zone today. I will be back again at 6 o'clock after Unsportsmanlike Conduct for Blue Jay Shoot-Around. We'll also have Creighton exhibition basketball in a top 25 matchup against Iowa State. And then we will also have Big Red Overreaction to follow tonight's contest between Nebraska and Minnesota. Lots of stuff going on 1620 The Zone. So if you're looking for it, of course, you're in the right spot. Okay, let's take a quick break. I want to get to Cignetti first before we get to Bryan Munson at 11. We will get to the new contract for the Indiana head coach. And this man just loves signing contracts in the middle of season, but can you blame him? He's making a lot of money to do it. That'll be next right here on the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
Let's get back to the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
All right, welcome back. 1620 The Zone. Connor Happer Show. Austin in for Happer today. Thanks for having me back on. I appreciate it, young Josh.
Really glad we made that decision. We wouldn't have got the closure on the monster bit.
I know.
If we had fired you mid-season.
That would have been tough. You watched Thursday Night Football last night? The Unk Off, as it was called, by the youths?
I actually didn't.
You didn't?
No.
I got it at the very end. I was covering high school football late, but I got the very last two drives, which seemed to be the most important ones.
Seems like I missed a good game.
Did you enjoy seeing the highlight of Joe Flacco's zone read?
I did, actually.
Yeah, I mean, that was incredible. I cannot believe. I almost wonder. I almost wonder if he was closer to having like the ability of maybe not necessarily. I don't know. Like it felt like it was closer to he just said, I think I should just hold this rather than they called it an actual zone read. But I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. But that old guy is not the one that we're talking about right now. I do want to talk a little bit about Curt Cignetti. He reset the market once again, and not maybe nationally, but definitely in the Big Ten. And I was curious about how this was going to have ripple effects across when I saw this come across the timeline yesterday. As Cignetti now has an 8-year, $93 million contract extension with an average annual pay of $11.6 million. What would be the first thing you'd buy with an $11.6 million contract extension?
I mean, I assume he already had one, a nice one, but a house.
Okay. Oh, okay. Gotcha. How nice can it? I mean, you could buy a nice house anywhere, but Bloomington, I imagine it's probably pretty good.
Yeah, I'll bet the burbs of Bloomington are pretty swanky.
You'd build a house, right? You're not buying something unless there have been a lot of highfalutin coaches in that area over the years, so maybe. But I wouldn't want to live at like an old Indiana coaches. I would build my own. I'd build my own. I'd find a spot and I would build it. Or I would ask the university to build a house for me on campus so I don't have to leave very far.
Oh.
That'd be very nice. It increased his salary in 2024 to $8 million annually. So it's about a $3.5 million pay raise from his last contract extension, which he signed, I believe, in the middle of the season last year as well. And so Indiana has definitely put all their chips towards the Cignetti center of the table, which rightfully they should. And Cignetti even said that he plans to be a Hoosier through and through and will retire with Indiana. He's currently 64 years old. It makes him the third highest paid coach in the country behind Kirby Smart and Ryan Day. And if you remember yesterday, right here on this show, I was talking about if Penn State were to try to go after a coach, what kind of coach would they want because of who they fired in James Franklin? And that conversation always goes to what could the coach we fired not do, or what did he do wrong that we're trying to replace? Cignetti has been a winner, much with less, and at the highest extent. Obviously, he's taken one of the, if not the losingest program in major college football to new heights over the past 2 years, especially, well, really year and a half. The ceiling could completely fall out on Indiana. That is entirely a possibility. Is it likely? Probably not with their remaining schedule. But now this doesn't necessarily take him out of a conversation with Penn State, because I do believe the Nittany Lions could pony up the money. But when you look at where James Franklin was being paid, kind of near the upper middle pack of the Big Ten coaches, Cignetti's now contract puts him into a position that if Penn State still keeps calling and still keeps asking, they're going to have to pay up and higher than the rest of the Big Ten top contracts. So for those who are wondering at home, the top paid coaches as of 2025 at the beginning of the calendar season this year: Ryan Day in the Big Ten, $12.6 million annually. Lincoln Riley was at $11.5 million annually. And that now puts Curt Cignetti at third, or actually just above. He's actually second at 11.6. So Riley and Cignetti just kind of inching around there. I think he's the third highest in the country, second in the Big Ten. Dan Lanning right behind there at $8.4 million. And then you have a lot of $7 millions, $6 millions, and $6.5 millions from there. That would go Luke Fickell, Jed Fish, Jonathan Smith, and Kirk Ferentz, all above $7 million annually.
Probably a lot of those you don't have to worry about paying next year.
PJ Fleck, Brett Bielema, and Matt Rule in about the 6.5 or more range, which is interesting because I do think that there is a misperception with Nebraska football fans that Matt Rule is making some egregious amount of money. And to be clear, yes, he is in terms of obviously other jobs across the university, across the state, all that stuff. Like, he's the highest state paid employee for a reason at $6.5 million annually. And also he had the Carolina Panthers buyout. He's made money, obviously, before as a college football head coach, all that good stuff. But I always kind of got the sense, and truthfully, I almost had that same recognition. I thought Rule was actually in that top quarter of the Big Ten coaches. Here he is, kind of in that middle pack. And especially when you talk about who he's behind, I mean, you can start with the fourth highest paid coach and Luke Fickell. I couldn't have told you that Luke Fickell was making almost $1.25 million more than what Matt Rule was making.
I didn't know that.
That is astonishing. And then to add in that Jed Fish is making almost $1.25 million more than Matt Rule. Now, I think the Washington job has been pretty good, but it's only been a few years where Matt Rule has continually, gotten Nebraska back on the map after year, and he's definitely built and grown the program further in this third year. But even being behind Kirk Ferentz, Jonathan Smith especially, PJ Fleck, some of these guys are a unique mix of, well, we're paying this guy to bring back our program in Fickell and Smith. And then there's the other side of it where, well, these are more of like our lifelong coaches with Ferentz and Fleck. And then Bielema's in there as well. We mentioned Dan Lanning. So where does this now set up Matt Rule's next contract to be? I wonder if Nebraska handles its business today against Minnesota. And maybe if, regardless of what the outcome looks like, if it's a Nebraska win, do we hear of a Matt Rule contract extension as early as Saturday morning? Because again, we talked about it on yesterday's show. National spotlight for Nebraska. You are the key piece of college football tonight. A lot of people will have their eyes on this game for better or worse because there's not a lot else going on other than the high school football across the country and another ACC game that's happening at 6. So if Nebraska owns a portion of the national spotlight for tonight, if you dominate and win, let's say in a perfect scenario, Nebraska wins like 59-10. And they just,
hell yes!
They just absolutely crush Minnesota. PJ Fleck is crying on the sideline. He ends up growing a lot of hair. The boat gets rowed all the way out into Canada. All that good stuff. Is that not the perfect time and optic to then re-sign Matt Rule and extend him Saturday morning, first thing when he arrives, touchdown right back in Lincoln? Because there have been some murmurs and some rumors that maybe Nebraska and Matt Rule were flirting with a contract extension near mid-year 2 when they were, looking good about the same time that they were this year. Is that not an opportune time to say, hey, Penn State, we're putting the foot down and this is our guy?
Another one of those, like the post-game video last year where they gave, I'm sorry, I forget his name, the scholarship.
Kenneth.
Troy walks in and Matt Rule does I'm not bleeping leaving, and signs the thing right on Troy's back or something. Yeah. Rule has a flair for the dramatic. I don't know if you've noticed this about him.
He does like that. I don't think that it's a bad opportunity, and you would dominate the news cycle. And as Cowboys fan on Unsportsmanlike Conduct, Josh Peterson understands, Jerry Jones loves doing this. He loves when his team is always in the front of the news cycle. Now, to be fair, that's more of a Trev Alberts type of activity to try to keep Nebraska in the news cycle regardless of what's going on. So that way, the conversation in College Game Day and Big Noon Kickoff is not, well, Matt Rule keeps winning. Is he going to take the Penn State job? Or do you want the conversation to be who else could be on the Penn State job? I think that that's probably an easier conversation to have if you're Troy Dannon, especially if Nebraska comes off a win on this Friday night. That's what I'm most looking forward to when we get out of this Friday and into Saturday. Now, this is a situation that is garnered by how Nebraska does tonight. Because if it's a close game, a walk-off field goal, or Nebraska happens to take the L, then things are a lot different. Things would be a different conversation. But I think in a perfect scenario, if you're Troy Dannon, you're heading on the PJ today, or maybe you're already in Minneapolis and you're sitting by a lake doing whatever, sipping coffee right now, doing your thing. I think you do have to consider that there is an outcome in tonight's game that you have Matt Rule sign a new contract extension with a big press release bright and early for Saturday morning so that you can beat the narratives off and you can move on with that entire week that you've had so far. Move on and put Penn State in your rearview mirror. We have coming up on the show Bryan Munson of Husker Online. We'll talk with him about maybe how aggressive Nebraska can get with some of the new commitments and decommits and shuffling of college football recruits that are happening, especially with some of the coaching jobs that'll be coming up here in the next coming weeks as well. That's next right here on the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
Bryan Munson.
Hey, long call. Comfy left zoom buster. 63 bang. Z Maui. Alert. Paradise Z Burger Y wrap on one.
Husker Online on the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
All right, welcome in Bryan Munson of Husker Online to the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone. Austin in for Happer today. My man, Bryan Munson. How are you doing today?
I'm doing fine, man. How are you?
I'm doing good. I've got
it's game day.
I know it's game day. I've got my UNK shirt on today. I think I might have chose the wrong football team, but I'm happy with the choice.
Goodness.
Well, I knew I was talking to you, and I know I can always talk Loper football when I get a chance. So,
yeah, I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you, those Lopes got a good win last week.
They did.
Hall, Mr. Davon Hall, had a massive touchdown. First play of the game. 7-8 yards to the house. Living up to some of that potential he's got there. So. Yeah, they needed that win last week for sure.
Yeah, it's not a conversation, obviously, to talk about today, but it is interesting that a lot of those guys that are, former Huskers that had to move down maybe a level or two to continue their football careers are having a lot of success. I mean, Riker Evans is one of those guys at UNK. I know there are guys that are amongst, out there in D2, whether it's at UNK or other places, but that connection with Nebraska football is quite a connection for UNK that's benefiting them and benefiting a lot of other schools when they had to make those roster reductions.
When I saw Applegate last weekend up in Ypsilanti too. He was playing against Eastern Michigan for NIU. I think he left the game with an injury, but he's been having a tremendous season for NIU. Mm-hmm. So yeah, absolutely. I think that people kind of forget, particularly like when those local guys end up having to go away and you see more and more this kind of cut over towards less local guys. You don't have those walk-ons anymore those great success stories, although there are going to be a few PWOs potentially this cycle. But I think it's one of those things people forget about, and there's some guys out there having some success. So yeah, it's really, really nice to kind of see and share in here.
All right, Brian, I've got a question for you regarding Friday night football, because obviously recruitment, especially on bye weeks, is a really big deal. But when you get a Friday night game, does that readjust how the coaching staff can then go out and do some recruiting over the weekend? Or is it kind of an all-fault loss, really, because you don't get that home game, and then most of the guys you're targeting are probably out doing something else somewhere?
Well, it's been interesting, right? Because I was kind of waiting to see when they took their East Coast trip out there to Maryland. They went out early, right? They went out early, and it looks like it, probably paid off a little bit. They won the game, so it sounds like maybe that's a little bit more going to become the trend. So I kind of wanted to pay attention to see if you saw a few guys, like Mosey or Keith Williams or some other guys like out there, hitting the road while they're out there on the East Coast. Did not see or have not heard either about any type of East Coast swing recruiting. And I think it kind of comes back to just like how few days that the NCAA, restricts the university to anymore when it comes to kind of doing those things. So would there be a possibility, had the team did leave, I think yesterday, to go to Minnesota, could they have gone somewhere last night? Sure, but I think in Tunnel Talk today with Sean, I think that they said basically they had moved all their games to Wednesday and Thursday. So that would mean maybe they could have got out last night and saw some things. If they had, I didn't know anything about going into last night. There really wouldn't be anything additional that they could do, necessarily today or even like tomorrow that would be of any benefit. It's really one of those things now. It's like you're going to have to get into a space where you can get out and see, 4, 5, 6 guys because you just get that one day and it kind of then counts for so much. It's kind of like what Matt Rule did, when he was kind of, in the bye week where he was, he's in Texas, he's in Chicago, he's in South Dakota, he's all over kind of Midwest up and down. But I mean, it's one of those things like you get a little moment in time where you can kind of say you're here and you're checking in on things and making sure things are good. But I don't think anything happened last week, and I don't think anything happened this week. I do kind of anticipate some things, though, happening here shortly because there's been a flurry of new 2026 offer activity, particularly out of the whole James Franklin getting fired at Penn State, that I'm sure Nebraska, they've done some offers out of that. But I think that there could be potentially some more guys that they're trying to evaluate, at particular spots, to where they can kind of try to get that 2026 class buttoned up.
All right, you beat me to it, but I do want to ask, too, because the talk of the 26 class is that it wasn't going to be a class that was very big, but when you do have some of the high-profile decommitments or kids that are reopening their recruitment and a team like Nebraska can kind of swoop in and talk to them, how realistic is it that Nebraska can reshuffle their plans to then be aggressive and go after some of these top targets if they are interested in Lincoln?
Yeah, I mean, it's possible, but I mean, again, it's burning the candle at both ends here a little bit. I mean, where you have to, I think the coaches are going to have to kind of understand, like when they look at their roster, if they said, man, we need defensive line help, for example, right? I don't think that there are some spots like offensive line and defensive line where you can really kind of just paint it with a broad brush and say, we can address that need from the high school ranks. Offensive tackle, interior offensive line, if there was a need for more of a quick fix, be part of that top 2 pushing starting time, Nebraska's going to have to go ahead and get into the portal for that. There have been a few guys, I think, at least in Matt Rule's first year in Lincoln, like with Cameron Lenhart, that, you were able to kind of find a guy that you felt a little bit better about, that you can put there on the defensive line, and he was able to do something. So freshman All-American with him. But I think if you're looking for, that bigger, stouter, Hutmacher looking dude that, that Nebraska really doesn't have right now, I think you're going to try to have to go look for that guy in the portal. Now, that being said, that guy probably looks something like 6'3", 6'4", 300 plus pounds. Nebraska did offer a Penn State defensive lineman that basically fits that bill. So if they felt like, where he is kind of at, and I'm talking about Tavian Branch. Took me a minute to come up with his name. I had to kind of dance around it right there with you, unfortunately. With Branch, if you felt like he was a guy that could come in and at least get some reps, get up to speed and kind of, be more ready as the season kind of goes along, then fantastic. Otherwise, if you think he has to go back in there as active as Nebraska was last year at the defensive line position in the portal in January, they'd have to go try to find a guy again in the portal. But they've offered, some skill position guys. They've offered the 5-star 2027, running back as well. That's completely decommitted. Most of the 2026 guys have just said, we're committed, but we're going to take a look around. So that's kind of what I would say about that.
All right. So Bryan, that kind of follows up, and I know you kind of talked a little bit about that too, just about it's not really their process, right, in recruiting, because they're always about setting the relationship and getting them to Lincoln and having them see, however they can do it, whether it's the 7-on-7 camps or the huddle camps or what, getting them into the building, all that sort of stuff. This feels more transfer portal-esque, especially with maybe some of the other high-profile jobs that could open up that could reset maybe some other commitments or recruits and their timelines and schedules. Can Matt Rule and how the coaching staff does their recruitment, can that still be feasible with the way that some of these high-profile jobs could be opening up and resetting some of those commitments from earlier this year?
Yes, they could. Absolutely. No, I think that's possible. And I think, as we're kind of moving on in the season, I think Nebraska's probably gained some more information about guys that maybe don't figure into the equation after this fall. That's another part that maybe, like we're talking about, like Willis McGahee has just come up for like a red shirt. Kind of an odd time to announce a red shirt. Maybe that's more of a, hey, I'm out of here kind of thing. Like I'm kind of speculating on that, obviously, but I mean, it's definitely possible because it just kind of feels that way. But I mean, there could be several other guys that, that we're, as we look down the list and up the roster a little bit and go, not really in the top 2 here, wonder what's going to kind of happen exit interview, when it comes to November, December, because you've only got that 2-week period in January to kind of get those portal guys like on campus. So I think it's going to be that number could, what I'm trying to say is that number could inflate. We've been talking about 12 to 15 now for months, right? They're sitting at 11, I think right now. I think it's really the most plausible that they would go get another high school wide receiver, number one. And I think after that, they would entertain the idea, I think, of getting a high school defensive lineman. And I think that they're still looking maybe for like an edge linebacker, or even like a safety guy. But again, now you're starting to push up on 15. And are you better off, if you can't get that top defensive lineman, Tavian Branch, from Penn State, then I think that automatically, moves the puck over to portal guy. And then you're trying to manage them based on your 105 and just kind of where things are at with whatever happens with the rest of your roster, from now until the end of the season.
So it sounds like it's almost closer to what we witnessed with Williams-Nwaneri in his last season with Missouri. Like that's kind of what the situation could turn into.
Exactly. I think that's a very good scenario, a very good comparison here. I think it's going to be exactly like that. I think what Nebraska has done also, and I think that this needs to be mentioned, I think Nebraska's done a really good job of when they've missed on high school guys before, like Nwaneri, right. That they've kept the door open. they've not like, got everything twisted with them, and, crashed out with the recruits over the phone and, totally lost it on them or anything like that. It's not been like that. I think Matt Rule and his staff have handled everything, even the losses when it comes to, losing a guy that wants to commit to another school. They've handled it all in stride. Yeah, sure, it hurts, but that kid's going to go someplace where he feels like his heart is at a little bit more than in Lincoln. And Matt Rule has basically said, hey, door's always open. Stay connected with me. Something else pops up down the line. Let's talk. Like, that's the kind of stuff I think that basically Matt Rule, how he's kind of managed things, like, since he's got there to Lincoln.
All right, so talking about this Minnesota matchup that's upcoming, the one of the big conversations, out, especially between the two teams, was Emmett Johnson's recruitment to Nebraska and lack of it from the Minnesota side. It's a great storyline, right? But that's not really a priority for Rule and the coaching staff moving forward, to kind of steal kids from Big Ten backyards and bring them to Lincoln, or is it? Is that something that they see and can kind of use to their advantage, especially as the program is gaining a little bit of more national relevance?
Well, Nebraska hasn't been able to do that with great consistency up to this point, number one. I mean, Emmett Johnson, I think he was Northern Iowa and Nebraska, I think were like his only two offers, or two of the biggest offers he had. It was funny because Emmett was like the top player through like 5 games in the COVID shortened season. And honestly, if you would have asked me, like, looking at his film, I loved him as a player. I thought he might have been a better corner than he was a running back. He was a tremendous two-way athlete for his high school. I honestly remember that. But when Nebraska has tried to dip into Wisconsin and dip into Minnesota and dip into Michigan, they've had very limited success, like Raekwon Buckley and Emmett Johnson, who Minnesota didn't want. And I think maybe Michigan State wanted Buckley, and that's where he's actually at now. They just not been able to like get guys, and even like Iowa, when Iowa has like shut it down, like with guys like they've shut down the borders pretty with pretty good consistency to where Nebraska can't get them away. Guys that were going to leave the state, they weren't going to Nebraska. Other guys that Iowa wanted were ending up as Hawkeyes. So that being said, that would not be a great plan, I think, as a recruiter, to kind of do that, to kind of try to go toe-to-toe with some of those in-state schools. Although Iowa State has decided to kind of do that to Nebraska, but they approach it a little bit differently with the early offers. And, then they kind of play it from there with, who wants you more. And that has been a successful plan, of course, for them to kind of come into the state. But yeah, Nebraska's not done that a whole lot with the Big Ten footprint.
Yeah, so I'm glad, because you kind of went down the train in which I was going to lead to. So when we talk about some of the in-state guys that are here, whether it's Omaha or just across the state, if they choose to go somewhere else, or Nebraska's not actively recruiting some of these guys that are high talent or high profile guys or anything like that, maybe it's not as big of a deal that they get quote unquote stolen from Nebraska's backyard, right?
Well, I think that's kind of been the mentality that we've had to kind of, tell people to use moving forward. Look, I think Nebraska is doing the recruits a service, even though I think that some fans are seeing it as a disservice when Nebraska's not recruiting them, and they are ending up in Ames. They are ending up in Naperville. They are ending up in other places around the country, and people kind of scratch their heads and they wonder why, and I think what Matt Rule is kind of doing, look at like Ackerman, last year, who I think everybody was very excited about with the kind of season he had with all the sacks and the way he played basketball and how great he was in track. Now he's sitting as like a third string, defensive end for Ohio. He hasn't really kind of, maybe cracked that, the college football kind of thing yet, to where he can kind of get on the football field. But I think it's one of those things, like, it's where Nebraska is seeing through some of this stuff, the experience that's there in the rooms and the coaching staff, and they're able to kind of decide, like, right away, like, the guys that they feel like can kind of help them a little bit. And I think what it is, it's a service. It's not a disservice. It's a service to both sides, because that player won't have to go to Nebraska, sit on the depth chart till they finally realize that he's not capable of playing in the Big Ten. Nebraska is kind of the ultimate filter in that they're kind of then just saying, let's not waste our time. we've been pretty successful with kind of pegging this thing. We think you're close. You could go there to Wyoming or wherever and have a successful career. And then maybe if you decide to go ahead and go in the portal, we'll reconnect. Otherwise, best of luck to you. We think you're a great player. Just go do it, go do it at the highest level you can. I think that honestly is working out for both sides.
All right. Bryan Munson of Husker Online joins us today on the Connor Happer Show. Appreciate your time, Bryan. Before I let you go, I do need to ask, what's your thoughts on the Eastern Michigan game with Miami? Ohio, that is.
Oh, yes. That's going to be a very interesting game. I think Eastern Michigan feels pretty good about it. They need a win. Obviously, they got to kind of win out here to make a bowl game. But I'm going to say Eastern Michigan goes and gets it done on the road. They've been so close. They were so close at Buffalo. And so close to a couple other games. I think that they go ahead and get it done. So, yeah, give me the Eagles.
Okay, I like it. Do you have a Husker football prediction? Can I put that on you?
Yes, you do. I mean, I think Nebraska, I think the lack of a running game is it's so non-PJ Fleck. I just don't understand, what's happened in that regard. That's really going to help Nebraska out. And Dylan Raiola has been so clutch in the fourth quarter. I'm going to take Nebraska, 42-17. I think that this game is going to get to that level, guys. I really think Nebraska's putting it together now.
I love it. All right, Bryan, appreciate your time. Enjoy your Friday night game day. We'll talk to you next time.
Sounds good, guys. See ya.
All right, that was Bryan Munson, Husker Online. Always enjoy talking to him because he always knows my Lopers. We talk Eastern Michigan, probably the only show on 1620 of the day that will bring up Eastern Michigan and Miami, Ohio.
You wouldn't last a quarter in Ypsilanti.
It's a good way to put that. I respect that. All right, let's take a quick break. We'll be right back. We will have Brian Christopherson coming up at 11:30. And who knows, maybe we'll talk a little bit more about that Emmett Johnson revenge game. Should you be expecting a big day from EJ? We'll find out next on the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
Hey, Brian.
Bryan Christopherson.
I got to take this. It's half.
B. Rooney drove my Chevy to the levee, but the levee was dry.
Bryan Christopherson, Husker 24/7 on the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
All right, welcome back. Connor Happer Show, 1620 The Zone. Austin in for Happer today. And on the phone line is our good friend, Bryan Christopherson of Husker 24/7. BC, where in the world is the Husker 24/7 crew today?
Oh, we're about halfway there. We have about 3 hours still to go. We're gonna make it. We'll make it.
Did you just make a song reference on accident, or was that real?
Oh, it was accident. A lot of what I do is accident. So did it sound good?
No, it was
I don't even
perfect.
know what I said.
You said you were halfway there.
Yeah, there you go.
Is it fun doing a radio hit inside of a car with other people? Like, is everyone else just dead silent right now? Are you holding them hostage in the vehicle?
Yeah, they had to shut off the tunes.
Oh, no.
So Bruns had to turn down his rap music.
Oh, okay.
But, yeah, they're being good soldiers right now.
That's good. All right. So has anyone had to stop the car yet? Has anyone had to, pull over to the side of the road or anything like that?
No stops. Just made it. We did. Nobody's had to stop what you're talking about. We just got a lunch stop at the Bandit Burrito. Burrito Bandit, I guess. I don't want to say it backwards. And Schaefer had his. I haven't had mine yet. He said it was delish, though. So.
Okay, so not to judge, and I'm sure you planned this out, but was burritos the best idea for a car of 3 guys driving up to Minnesota?
We've done it before, and we haven't had any complications yet. So, but we are a year older, so that's a good point.
All right, BC. Okay, so I'm curious about your thoughts when it comes to this Emmett Johnson revenge game. I know it's kind of been one of the topics or underlying topics of this contest so far. How much of it, in terms of Nebraska's rushing ability tonight, is parlayed with how much motivation he may have to perform with success, more towards maybe how much more dominant Nebraska's offensive line could be comparative to Minnesota's defensive line?
Yeah, let's start with the O-line. I think Emmett's going to bring it no matter what. I mean, he was determined against a school that wasn't his home state last week and kind of carried him. I would expect no drop-off, of course, with his family and former high school teammates all in the stadium today. I know they're practicing they practiced at his high school, so that's kind of cool. But I would think the O-line wants to, give him the space, too, to have a big day, and is probably determined on that front, but also because that was an encouraging game for them last week after, really sort of being picked at for fair reason. We kind of talked all offseason how that was going to maybe be a strength of this team. And then, of course, there's the 12 allowed sacks in the Michigan and Michigan State games, and the conversation kind of shifts, and they're changing their lineup a little bit with Pritchett and all that. So last week was a good step. So now don't take half a step back or a full step back here against, as you said, a Minnesota run defense that hasn't been as good as, at least in Big Ten play, as some PJ Fleck teams of the past. And so you do want to see Nebraska win this game in the trenches. And if you go back through the last, 5 losses to this program up here, Minnesota's won a lot of those games in the trenches. So we'll see if they can turn the table here.
So because of some of the talent discrepancies on the side for Minnesota, I asked Bruns yesterday about if there was a clear advantage for Minnesota on either side. And I think most of us maybe just in the Nebraska markets can agree that it feels like Nebraska's got those advantages. Does this mean that it's a determined Minnesota's got to shorten this game and limit possessions? Or do you see it that Drake Lindsey is going to just sling the ball no matter what happens?
That's a good question. I don't know that they're just going to go slinging it around. I know that they've leaned that way. I've sort of wondered if they've been building Darius Taylor up the last couple of weeks after that injury, and you're going to see a lot more of them. And that has been a formula against Nebraska in this matchup in the past that Fleck has found very successful. What you're talking about is limiting possessions, and you look up and it's you're in the third quarter quicker than you thought you'd be. And so I wouldn't be surprised if they try to test that Nebraska run defense and make it sort of an old school game like it's been the last few years, even though that's not what their data shows that they're about. As Sean Butler said this week, why wouldn't you try it against us? I mean, Nebraska knows it's a weakness until it's not. And even last week, some people didn't really want to talk about Maryland's run game at all because they were like 128th in the country. But in the third quarter, the Terps were kind of leaning on Nebraska a little bit until Deshaun McCullough fired through there. So I would expect Minnesota is going to test that out and see if they can't knock on that wall a bit and, grind out some third down conversions on 3rd and 3 and like you're saying, shorten the game in a way.
So that leads me kind of to the next part of this too, that we've seen Nebraska obviously have the past few weeks, the end and beginning quarters look pretty strong. The middle quarter is a little bit less, but how critical are those early quarter and early first half possessions for Nebraska to kind of get out and set the tone for this game?
Yeah, absolutely. And what you want to see is first you got to get that opportunity where you're up 7 or 10 and you have that drive where, okay, maybe you can step on their throat. But then take that step and actually do that this week, if you get it. And I there's a lot of, as you'd expect, Nebraska plates going up to Minnesota right now with us. And there'll be a lot of Husker fans, as there always are in that stadium. And if you can early on in this game grab a lead and give those traveled the opportunity to sort of impact Minnesota when they're on offense, I think that could be a big thing in this game. You could start to make it a little bit of more of a home field in the second or third quarter instead of waiting till the fourth when everything's on the line. So that would be a big step for this program, I think, to have a game like that. Obviously, first and foremost, you'll take whatever kind of win you can get in Big Ten play. But this team, I think, has that in them, but we need to see it now. We need to see them have a game like that where you feel like you're better. You just sort of prove it, and it's not a deal where everyone's bit their nails off when there's 3 minutes left.
Okay, so BC, I'm curious because you mentioned like the offensive line confidence kind of growing over the past few weeks, especially from last week's performance. Does Dylan need maybe that boost? When you look back at his Big Ten games so far, he's had an interception in each of the games. Is this a day that Dylan has a very clean game and maybe he's not a guy that needs more confidence or anything like that? That's not what I'm trying to say. But is this maybe a quote unquote get right game for Dylan if he can find that?
Yeah, well, what you're getting at, I think, is it would be huge if he could take that step forward and have
right,
a 0 in that INT column. He's kind of got into that stretch where. He's put a few bad balls out there. I mean, all three of those picks were definitely on him. And I thought he was a little more daring last week than he had been really all season. Like, not just his 3 picks, which obviously were bad, but I mean, he also put a few in tight windows that were completed, like where there was a little more danger to everything he was doing out there. And sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. So I wondered if they dial that back a little bit. Just get the ball to those guys in space, get it in play, as Dana always tells them, and let them do some damage and make them tackle you. Obviously, Isaiah Hunter's done really well with that. I wonder if there's like a variation. I think it was Schaefer on one of our podcasts mentioned it this week. You've run that screen to him that's been so effective in Nebraska's ball. There's things you can do off of that where you hit them on a different direction with that play. So I'm curious what sort of, I guess, tweaks Dana and Dylan have off of some of the stuff they've put on tape the last 2 weeks and maybe the variations they run off of it.
With those variations too, obviously the receivers have had some big moments throughout the first 6 games of the year. Does it feel like trending in the right direction? Maybe, do I add more to the end of that sentence? Yeah, we'll say that. Which receiver's trending in the right direction more to become maybe the favorable target? Is it someone like Isaiah Hunter, Dane Key? Is it even someone like Luke Lindenmeyer? Who do you think has maybe that next big performance this week for Nebraska?
Well, I think the best thing they have going is you can't just answer that with confidence, like in a good way. It's like you could see like Dane Key maybe having that game where he has 85 yards suddenly, and that wouldn't shock anybody. Or maybe Isaiah puts up, 90 or 100 again. He was actually, pretty quiet last week from a statistical standpoint, and he's a guy I could see get loose. So I don't know who it's going to be, but I think that's exactly how Holgerson wants it. It's I want to be able to spread the ball to like these 6 to 8 guys, and the defense has to think about that too. They're asking the same question you are.
Okay, so looking into, I presented this a little bit ago before we kind of got into the discussion minutia of the game itself, but obviously the Rule Penn State conversation has changed and evolved since we were on Sunday to where we are today, and everything that came from the Pat McAfee appearance yesterday. I'm curious your thoughts. If Nebraska wins tonight comfortably and handles their business the way a lot of people expect them to, is there a chance that we see a new signed contract extension for Matt Rule on Saturday morning?
Yeah, I mean, I suppose that's possible. I don't know where it's going to go, though. I don't know if it might play out all the way to the finish line here. I did think yesterday was more Nebraska-y, maybe, in how Rule responded to that question on the McAfee show, as you mentioned, and had people feeling a little bit more confident. I've always wondered, too, about that in this day and age where, like last year, when you're trying to get your team together and you're getting guys out of the portal and, Dylan comes back again, you're talking those guys like to believe sort of in the program and what you're building and stuff. I do wonder sometimes how difficult it's going to be for coaches to move on sometimes when you've got a younger team that has bought into sort of what you're building. And I wonder how much that impacts Matt too, if he does have a decision ever on his table about Penn State, because I do think he feels really strongly that he's got a lot of second and third year players that are pretty quality guys that have sort of built the culture he's wanted. And as he mentioned sort of quickly on the McAfee show, Temple and Baylor, you're there with 3 good years, but then 3-4 years, you don't see it out. You don't see it that 5th, 6th year. What does it become? That. And so I don't know, to your question though, if there will be a contract anytime soon or not, but it sure has added a fascinating layer to this season already halfway through.
Now I'm curious because obviously you guys are traveling up today, you're kind of in the midst of it and you're coming back tomorrow, but with all the distractions and everything that could have came from this weekend and might have been in the locker room. I mean, it was a topic of discussion on Mondays and Tuesdays press conferences. Dylan even referenced that younger players were coming up to him and talking about it. Getting away and going to Minnesota, could that have actually just been a good thing to be away from Lincoln and out of that conversation for a little bit?
Yeah, probably. I think there is good use to just getting away as a team sometimes. And I think they felt that up in Maryland. When they stayed there for 2 days. And I honestly don't think it's going to affect the game, sort of the whole outside conversation. I don't think it's going to affect this team because I think they talked on Sunday and Rule said what he had to say. And guys that obviously Dylan is probably the lead example, really believes where it's at with his head coach and all that and has confidence in it. And I think that's probably a representation for how a lot of those guys feel. Also, I think guys that age are better at just getting past that and just playing ball than sometimes we give it credit. I don't think they're just sitting there like thinking like, oh no, what's going to happen in 3 to 4 weeks? With this, it's just sort of what's in front of me now. How can I put good stuff on tape? And, they also know they have an opportunity to cross off some boxes against a team that's beat them 5 times in a row to get bowl eligible and do it in a quiet manner this year. We're not making a big production about it. All that stuff is really important for this program right now.
All right, BC, can I get a game day prediction for you for tonight's matchup?
Yeah, I've settled on a Nebraska cover. I just think they have a better mindset to sort of handle adversity and some of the things that we've seen sort of derail them in the past. I don't think you're seeing that with this squad. Now they have to go do it again. And I understand the house of horrors that Minnesota has been because, when I get in that press box, you think about all the bad stuff that's happened to Husker football when you're there. But I think this team has done a good job not carrying the burden of the past teams. And I'll say 34-23 Nebraska.
Okay. All right. Prediction on when your next stop will be.
I think we're going straight through. I think these guys have it in them, so we'll see. I don't know where the gas tank's at, but we've got some gamers here.
All right, you can whisper this if you need to, but just let us know who is the weak link in the 3 of you. Is there someone that has to get a stop in?
No, there's not a weak link. I'm not going to say that. That's like if you ask the coach that at the podium. You never acknowledge that. Like you might have an answer in your head. You don't say that though. I think everybody can get there from here without a stop.
I like it, BC. I like it. All right. Well, best of luck tonight. Safe travels, of course. Looking forward to all the content Husker 24/7 your crew will have. And make sure you get that rap music back on for Bruns.
All right, we'll do that. Thanks for having me.
All right, thanks, BC. That was Bryan Christopherson, Husker 24/7, joining us. Which rap music do you think Bruns is listening to?
Definitely some old stuff.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do have an update from Mike Schaefer.
Oh, please.
In that vehicle, the Bandit burrito review. Chicken burrito for me with all the fixins. I was sad as I finished the final bite. Conversely, BC tracking to finish his by the time we park in Minneapolis.
He's taking baby bites of that thing. Does he need to cut it up into pieces? Is that what it was?
Maybe. Well, maybe just needs to focus on the burrito and not the typing or the radio hits.
Yeah, well, he kept himself a little busy today. So we appreciate BC's time. That is a good question, though. I did not consider the size of said burrito or who would be, the pace of which who is consuming what.
Sure.
I was just more concerned that a car with 3 adult males whose digestive systems are likely not where they were when they were younger, that would concern me more.
Definitely.
I would have said, now there's also the opposite factor where sometimes you've trained your body. It's like, you put the same oil in your car, you train your car to do the right things, that sort of mentality. If you put the same foods in your body, like if they stop for all salads, would that just be like greenhouse gases going in there? That's probably the bigger issue, right? So maybe burritos is what the Husker 24/7 crew needs to survive.
That's interesting, yeah.
Just as we talked with Matt McMaster yesterday, that's just anatomy and physiology.
Very very well-priced menu.
Oh, really good? What stands out to you the most there?
Well, it's your general fast casual Mexican restaurant. Okay. There's a burrito, there's a bowl, there's nachos, there's tacos.
I don't like it when they try to throw nachos on me. The nachos are a specific.
Nachos are the most expensive thing on the menu.
That's crazy. I never want to travel with nachos. That's what I'm always confused by. Nachos should be a seated. And I'll be honest, you don't have to share nachos. You can get the appetizer nachos just for yourself if you so choose. But I don't want to be carrying nachos around.
No.
It's a spillable offense no matter where you go. So do I have this right one? It's Burrito Bandit?
It's Bandit Burrito.
Bandit Burrito. Gotcha. Okay. I was looking at Burrito Bandito, which is 2 different things.
Oh, hello.
Bandit Burrito. Okay. Oh, the pickup is coming soon. That's very good.
Okay.
They stopped in Johnston. Very nice. That looks like fresh quality ingredients. The breakfast menu is actually very well priced. $6.50 for a breakfast burrito. It's pretty good.
Yeah, this is a well-priced outfit they got there.
And also, kids menu as well. Oh, nice stuff. Yeah, the nachos again. I'm out. I'm out on nachos, and especially if people were riding in my car, someone ordered the nachos, we would be sitting down and eating. We would not; those nachos would never enter my vehicle.
Oh, you've ordered the nachos, so you would like to sit for a spell. Okay, got it.
Not in my vehicle. Not my vehicle. You're not. All right, when we return here on the Connor Happer Show, we'll hit your odd news with Odd Son. We'll keep talking college football and get you some history lessons, keys to the game, Husker football predictions, hype speeches, so much more. All coming up here on the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
He gives you the latest sports news, analysis, and commentary in a clean, concise, and disease-free way.
See there?
What a relief. Thank God.
Wonderful. It's the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
And now we've reached the point in the show where Josh Odson reads the peculiar, the bizarre, the comical, the odd news with Odd Son. Odd news, Odd Son. See what we did there? The odd news with Oddson.
All right, welcome back. Happer Show, 1620 The Zone. It's game day.
Mute your computer there, prankster.
What? Oh, what did I do? Oh, sorry. Is it still on?
Yeah.
My bad. My bad. Why is that feeding back into your headset?
No, I can just hear it in the background.
You have excellent ears, sir.
Thank you.
Hearing, I should say, not like you have. Okay, let's not get too far in that. Hey, Matt McMaster just stopped by. It looks like we're friends again.
Yeah, I felt a burying of the hatchet.
It did. It's like the book.
Peace talks were held.
We did take a photo of the Monster Boys. So
the Monster Boys.
Yes, the Monster Mash, as one would say. Very fitting for this month of October.
Very.
All right. Odd news, Odd Son. What do we have for a Friday night football game day?
We go to Pittsburgh, where people wrote some pretty big checks.
Oh.
Last night, how confident was Andrew Filipponi that the Pittsburgh Steelers would beat the Cincinnati Bengals? So confident, he promised that if the Steelers somehow lost, he would get his nipples pierced. More specifically, he'd do so without a numbing agent.
Ooh, that's not a good sign.
He posted on Twitter. Andrew Filipponi is a radio, television personality out there.
Good for him.
In the Berg. Quote, "There's no way the Steelers lose tonight. In fact, I'll get my nipples pierced with no numbing agents if they lose to the Bungles. It ain't happening."
Ooh. And what happened on Thursday Night Football?
The Bungles beat the Steelers.
Joe Flacco, mobile elite quarterback.
Mike Tomlin, no longer the most mad person in Pittsburgh. That deal went down. He kept his followers updated throughout the game. 9:07 p.m.
Oh no.
Okay, I'm worried. 9:54 p.m. My nipples are burning. 10:10 p.m. Aaron, presumably talking to Aaron Rodgers.
That had to be the touchdown, right? Yeah.
Do it for my nipples. At 10:30.
What a line. Has that line ever been uttered?
Aaron, do it for my nipples.
Aaron, do it. An Aaron, right?
Correct.
Not like
Correct.
Well, not to get gross, but there's probably someone who said the ERIN, do it for my nipples.
Absolutely.
But no one for the AARON, do it for my nipples.
Important distinction.
Right.
At 10:30, he tweeted a photo of his chest and said, "RIP to my nipples. We had some great times together. It's over now. Thanks, Tomlin." And now this is Tomlin's fault?
Yeah, I thought it was Aaron's fault.
Yeah.
I mean, Aaron did have some bungalow turnovers there early, but he figured it out, I guess. Okay, so do we have an update? Is he getting it done today? Or when does this occur?
This is a great question. I don't know what time his show airs in Pittsburgh.
Did he say he was doing it on the show?
He didn't say he would, but I mean, if you were in this situation, you would do it on your show.
You would do
right?
it on the show, yeah. I mean, content that's for the clicks.
He posted a video in his car, a vertical video in his car.
Oh, a vertical video.
Yeah,
Interesting.
42 minutes ago, breaking a special announcement on my nipples. Watch. If someone in the comments there could break it down for me,
let us know.
Yeah. Yeah. So just very quick glance at the comments. It looks like he is going to go through with it.
I have nipples, Greg. Can you milk me?
Yeah. We moved to the fast moving world of toilet paper.
Okay. Oh,
it evolves at breakneck speed. And
right.
The only thing you can do as a consumer is hold on and hope that, you're up to date.
Right. Yes. Right. Okay.
Charmin has introduced
that's the bear one, right?
Correct. The next evolution in toilet paper, something they've dubbed the Forever Roll.
Okay.
This new toilet paper released yesterday contains 1,700 sheets and is designed to last up to a month for a 2-person household.
Then it's not the Forever Roll.
That's not forever.
That's not forever.
It's a very long time. It's very good. Not forever. The Forever Roll is approximately 32 times larger than a standard roll. It will be available online and in stores such as Walmart, Target, Amazon, those places. Charmin is offering a 30-day money-back guarantee and assures customers that the roll maintains the same soft 2-ply, ultra-soft quality that people love. Its official website said the starter kit cost $40 and comes with 2 rolls and a stand. Okay.
It gets the stand too? That's actually the steal.
That's where I was really focused on was, okay, great. You've made this gigantic roll of toilet paper. Where do I put it? Because
so
the
even
dispenser in my home is barely designed for the mega roll or whatever.
Yep, mine, if you get the mega roll, they're like sunk into the wall and they're specifically put there. So yeah, it's an older home, which I could get the stand for, but the bathrooms are tiny. Especially the split level homes, starter homes, as the kids say.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so you said is it 1,700 sheets of toilet paper and it's approximately 32 rolls or 32 times the size?
Correct.
Okay. So that means it would be like 32 rolls in one. Okay. So the average person uses about 57 sheets of toilet paper per day, which is about 85 rolls per year. So if it's 32, it said that this would last a month?
It said it would last a month for a 2-person household.
Wow, those people be pooping. I mean, seriously, like whatever test subject couple that they used, they are well ahead of schedule. Their fiber intake is through the roof.
Well,
Good for them.
You want to under promise and over deliver.
That is
especially
true.
when it comes to toilet paper.
But then also, so that was the AI math that was doing that. I just divided the 1,700 divided by 57. Again, 57 being the average paper or toilet paper usage per day for the sheets.
Sure.
That is just under 30 days. So it's 29.8 days. So that one is closer. But yeah, very interesting. So, but still, the basis of this is not a forever roll, just a part-time roll.
Yeah, I don't know what the alternative name should be, but forever roll is the wrong name.
It's more of, did you ever, maybe they had these like at Iowa Western or some of the schools around here. You ever heard of like the J term when just like the month of January? You get like,
yeah, I've heard of this.
You get 30 days to like learn the trombone or something, or you can take a class that's a 3-week preparation course or whatever.
Just bang one out real quick.
Yeah, they should rename this the J term roll, where you can just poop all of January with it. Yeah.
Interesting.
How do you move on?
I don't know. We're going to find a way. Platt Cat always doing the legwork for the Connor Happer show.
Yep.
We appreciate him greatly. He transcribed the video basically. Tune into his show at 1:00 for a nipple update. 93.7 The Fan in Pittsburgh.
Do we think that we
don't
could
do that? Listen to 1620 The Zone.
Do you think that we could ask Sipple his live thoughts on it at 1:00? Or no, is that 1 p.m. Central or is that 1 p.m.
I'm going to bet
Eastern?
it's Eastern.
Yeah. So that's happening in 5 minutes.
Oh, yeah,
all right. Well,
sure.
we may give you live reaction.
Okay.
We'll figure this out. Okay, move on with the odd news. I'll get this figured out for you.
That brings us to our first poll question.
Oh, please.
Of the day. Would you bet your nipples on a football game?
Aaron, my nipples.
I mean, it would have to be like,
I don't like this website for this radio station.
Radio station website's notoriously terrible.
Their
every
first
single one of them.
article from the Pittsburgh game is Steelers let it slip and sloppy in second. Ugh. I didn't like any of that.
Are they trying to make a joke there?
Oh no, they're trying.
Okay.
There's a lot of S's in there that are very sensual. And Steelers let it slip with sloppy second.
Why not just say the Steelers finished in sloppy? Yeah, why all the
You
words?
could just say the Steelers sloppy second.
Yeah.
Why did you add slip in there? The Steelers let it slip with sloppy second.
I feel like there was a more succinct way to do that.
How long did it take the intern to write this? Either. This is probably a part-timer that wrote this.
Yeah. I'll bet he was running through the halls.
Guys, I got it.
Steelers let it slip with sloppy second. Steelers let it slip with sloppy second.
Fat Brian, you nailed it. Because you know that's a station full of Fat Brians, Stinky Joes.
Jimmy in chat says Chat GPT. Yeah, did they go?
Yeah.
Hey, chat, make this Pittsburgh Steeler headline sexual. Sure, we can provide that. Here's 5 examples. We love Chat GPT. 90% of my job is Chat GPT. Just asking it, hey,
really?
what do you think about this? What do you think about this? and it tells me vertical videos are cool.
See, the AI just isn't up to date on.
I'm just part
what's
of the
hip.
Yeah, I'm just part of AI slop apparently.
Okay.
Gen Z. What else do we have?
Finally, on the odd news, I don't know if you listen to Pablo Torre's podcast. Pablo Torre finds out.
Yes, Josh.
He's been on an all-time journalism heater.
Absolutely. Real journalism too. Big J.
He exposed the mess at North Carolina. He before we all knew it was a mess. Seems pretty obvious now that was going to be a mess, but he was the first to hey, I got facts that show this is going to be a mess. He broke the Kawhi Leonard story over the summer that ESPN begrudgingly reported on after the fact. He's got a new one today. A hot mic snafu between Bill Belichick and Jordan Hudson.
Way-ho.
The footage obtained by his podcast, Pablo Torre Finds Out, taken back at the start of the 2024 NFL season. So last NFL season, okay. Belichick's on this panel show with Matt Patricia and Michael Lombardi. They're analyzing big football games. The graphics on the screen are basic, to say the least. Okay. They're black and white. They're just black text on white background. Very basic.
Like Jordan?
Funny you should ask, because during a commercial break, Jordan comes out to Bill, and instead of hey, good job, honey, you're doing great, I'm proud of you, she whispers in his ear, they're both, why are they both wearing microphones? But they're both wearing microphones. I don't know how they have 4 full-time graphics people, she can be heard saying. To which Belichick replied, they can't do bleep.
Oh, Bill.
So the people in the back, the people of NFL Films, mind you.
NFL Films.
Could hear this.
Yeah, because they're both mic'd up.
Yes, and there was no on-set confrontation or anything, but you can hear them bleep talking the film production staff at NFL Films.
Doesn't Bill love NFL Films? Didn't he do a whole historical docuseries with them too?
I would imagine so. Seems like his cup of tea. But okay, you can identify poor graphics, but you cannot identify poor college football players? Because you got 50, 60, 70 of them in front of you right now.
Yeah.
I think he knows that now, though.
Ooh, man. So I have seen the argument that obviously Bill could be going through something medical and having a condition that is worsening for him. Is that the case, or is it maybe closer to the whatever, shrug your shoulders, IDGAF type of attitude?
Oh, it feels like that. It feels very much like my legacy is secure. I'll do whatever. I'll get the money. If I win, great. If not, who cares?
Well, we talked about it earlier with Signetti getting all those millions of dollars at 64. Mm-hmm. How old is Bill Belichick right now? Is he in his 80s? He's not in his 80s,
I don't
right?
think so. I believe he's 70 something.
Bill Belichick is 73, right? Okay. So if you're 73 and your girlfriend, Jordan Hudson, is in her mid-20s, right?
That's right.
Your goal,
you can't tell me nothing
is
at that point.
Yeah, exactly. Your goal is just to impress her with whatever keeps her around, correct? And you know that. There's a part of you that knows that, right? So him essentially stealing millions of dollars in any way that he possibly can, no issue to him. Yeah, he'd shrug his shoulders. That's fine.
My legacy's secure. You think I'm bad at my job? Oh, well, I get to go home with the 20-something-year-old. Darn.
We do hot yoga on the beach.
Yeah.
I don't care. Sorry.
You can watch Bill Belichick roam the sidelines tonight as North Carolina takes on Cal at 9:30 on ESPN. Can he stay up that late? Who knows?
Is that an East Coast or West Coast game?
That is in Berkeley, my friend.
Oh, my God. That is so late for him.
It is.
What time does he schedule his nap? You're 73. You're taking a nap in the day.
Feels like
that's got to be super late in the afternoon.
2:30, 3 o'clock guy.
I don't know. I feel like it's later.
Yeah.
I feel like he pushes it all the way up to when the bus leaves the hotel.
Okay.
I think he's a 4 Because that bus probably leaves at 6, right? 6 Pacific. Yeah. Pacific.
Yeah. It feels maybe just a hair late. But yeah. I think you're basically right.
That's tough. And then he's got to do post game after, and then they're definitely going to fly home. Oh man, Jordan better stay out of the room. He's going to be awake all night. You got to be careful about that.
She's going to walk up to him pregame and be like, "Can I have some money for snacks?" Yeah, sure.
Yeah, she's
on to the nachos.
She's one to order the nachos.
Yeah,
she's one to order the nachos for sure. Wow, what a time! What a good. John Jacobs in chat.
Hi, John Jacobs.
When talking about Belichick, you shouldn't do that passionate grunt that you do. He probably doesn't have that many left in him.
Yeah, I don't feel like Bill's rustling that much up. Yeah,
we're on to Cincinnati. They should play Cincinnati. Just to throw that one in there.
The Bearcats?
Yeah, the Bearcats.
Okay.
Notable top 25 program.
Yeah,
have you heard?
Notably very good team, Cincinnati.
Yeah. I was really hoping North Carolina was going to be at least a bowl eligible team. Just so that way we could continue this conversation forward and moving forward. And just I wanted to see how far they could take it. I don't think it's going to survive by the end of the season.
Doesn't seem like it.
But it will be interesting too, because Belichick has never come across as a guy who's going to say, oh, well, I'm really worried about how I'm going to be remembered, my legacy, all that other stuff, right? How it's going to be washed away. But does it not ever cross someone's mind about how you are remembered even at the end? Because this happened with like Calvin Johnson. He was too banged up and too injured. He didn't want to keep playing, but there's a part of that we never saw Calvin Johnson fall off of the map, right? We have clearly seen Bill Belichick completely nosedive in his career. Does that actually change how people perceive him in terms of football? Is that going to affect like Hall of Fame inductions and everything else that goes on? If he's a scandalous character by the end of this entire tenure with North Carolina, does that hurt him in achieving football immortality? And does that matter to him?
I don't think it does, because
he's still doing it.
He won a bunch of titles in the NFL amid scandal.
That is true. Well, those scandals are different. Those scandals were to winning. This is just scandal in his personal.
He can't even cheat right.
The ultimate cheater, Bill Belichick, if he cheated on Jordan, that would be the ultimate cherry on top of this entire thing.
With like another 20-year-old?
If he found, if she's 23, if he found a 22-year-old, I just had to get a newer model.
Hey, she won the beauty pageant. You only finished third, honey.
Sorry, Jordan. I just bought a new real estate property for her.
On to Tiffany.
I found it at Zales. All right. Any more hot news for us? That's a good way.
I went to Jared.
All right. That's odd news with Odd Son. All right. Next hour, we've got good stuff coming up. We've got your Minnesota history lesson, keys of the game. I want to get to an underrated slate of college football quarterback matchups before we get there first. This is the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
he does it the only way he knows how. With his massive sports brain sprinkled with a smidgen of rabble-rousing. Let's get back to the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
Welcome back, Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone. I'm Austin Jacobsen in for Happer today. Happer will be back on Monday morning, providing you all the great quality content you're looking for. Just a reminder, busy day. It is Friday night, and we have plenty of not only local action happening in the area, whether you're looking for high school football. We also have Big Red overreaction after Nebraska football tonight. Creighton basketball is on the air. Blue Jay shoot-around starts at 6. Live pregame with John Bishop at 7. Tip-off at 7:30 for the exhibition. In top 25, college basketball between the Creighton Blue Jays and the Iowa State Cyclones. What else am I missing? Is there anything else that's going on? You run through the entire else weekend slate, director of audio for 1620?
Well, we got Scott and Bennington tonight on 1180.
Good stuff. Great matchup in Class B.
Yeah.
Great stuff.
Among a great week of games in Class B. There was one last night that I caught. I support Gary in all of his endeavors.
Big Gary guy.
Yeah.
Notably, I am too.
Let me tune into Gary here.
Yep.
And boy, that Gretna East running back,
Connor Sam's is something.
He's a bowling ball.
I talked to him at the end of last year, and when they had to win to get in to beat Gretna, and it was their first battle of Gretna between the new school and the original high school, of course, when they're both playing in Class B for the first time. What a way to close out a season as well for regular season that you have Gretna East and Gretna. Not like a heated rivalry because most of those kids kind of knew each other, but that has a lot of great potential to become maybe one of the metro area's better rivalries in the future years. I'm really looking forward to that.
Let's go.
Yeah. But mentioning some of the best rivalries, I mean, Creighton Prep Westside tonight, that'll be a big one as well.
Is it rivalry night?
It might be.
Okay.
Norris and Waverly. I don't know if they're a rivalry, but they are the two best teams in B outside of the city of Lincoln.
I heard Norris talking stuff about Waverly's mom. So, I mean, might as well be a rivalry.
And I bet Waverly said, "You're not even a town, Norris. Why do you have a school? Where's Norris on the map? I can't find you." A lot of good stuff. And not only to mention, state softball in a high school sense is wrapping up in Hastings. Today we'll have the state championships on Monday in Lincoln.
I'm a sucker for kids filling out a bracket like with the stickers. Like I'll watch every single one of those videos.
Those vertical videos go hard.
Well,
they're great.
I'd prefer them to be horizontal.
Okay.
I'd also prefer the state to give me the whole field.
All right.
On the video.
That's misperception. It's one alleged screenshot. Now you're going to get me on to a ramble here. You did not want to get on.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
We have this.
Educate the people.
We have this terrible time sometimes when it comes to how we broadcast certain things or how certain things can be perceived, because as you know, Josh, sometimes things can be taken out of context.
What?
So sometimes people like to take a singular screenshot of potentially maybe 2 to 3 minutes of a certain broadcast that lasted, I don't know, over 36 hours of content through 1 week.
That's too long of a broadcast.
High school state softball.
You're going to want to pare that down.
We're talking 3 different classes with 8 teams in each class broadcasting every single game from Hastings through a rain and weather delay in which there may have been a couple of technical snafus, yes.
Oh, no.
But hold on, Josh. Who's to blame? The NSAA. How dare they do this? Well, it's a student-run Strive organization that's making these sort of mistakes. Oh, but the softball needs to be better. I'm not denying that. I would also love to do that. But are you going to really point out the flaws of students learning through the process? Josh, haven't we all made mistakes in this radio business we're all so fond of?
A lot of people I work with have made mistakes, yes.
Interesting. So when you were a student, if someone online publicly shamed you and said, "Why does the state make it look like this? It's horrible. The product is not up to snuff." Wouldn't that maybe not want you to go into that sort of industry, especially if you knew that maybe one wrong button or a click that you didn't do correctly was the result of said screenshot? That would feel not great, right?
Imagine going into this business and not thinking you're going to get criticized for literally everything you do.
Quite literally. And it's so frustrating to me. And I understand. I know this is a football Friday for Nebraska football, and we started talking about everything that's going on. I didn't want to get on this train, and I have been trying to fight it off online. I can't tell you how many times I typed out the tweet, quote tweeting so many other people, replying to people online over the past week of them bashing student broadcasters, student-run organizations for a high school student championship series, and just completely obliterating the fact that these are all students that are learning the process of professional work. And yes, could the NSAA hire a professional network of people to go do? Sure. But like I said in a TikTok from last week, the opportunity of the NSAA is to provide opportunity for students and student athletes to participate in activities in which they would not have the ability to do otherwise. That includes sports. That includes other activities such as choir competitions or one acts in, district speech and band and all these other things that go on, dance competitions, athletics, activities, one and the same.
A lot of us go pro in something other than sports.
Wow, where did that come from? I've heard that before, haven't I? There's nothing that frustrates me more as someone who really appreciates what high school sports can do in this state. I'm not even trying to champion high school sports across the entire United States, because high school sports outside of Nebraska is it is different, right? Because if we were to take the student athletes that are in this area, even just Omaha, and you transplant Omaha and we push it somewhere else and we move it over to Texas, Omaha's radar would not make as big of a blip on the radar as some of the other Texas communities in that area in terms of football, basketball, any of that. Notably, Nebraska high school basketball does not have a top recruit in its next few classes. In fact, they've lost a couple of them, transferring out of state to other programs to maybe help their recruiting profile or whatever the case may be, right? But when we choose as a state, and people who are in this state and want to cover the state and say that they are pro student athlete and get on their high horse about it and say, well, how can the NSA allow something like this to not cover? Do you not understand the ripple effect that you cause when you start to critique those sort of things? And I've been trying to hold back, and I'm going to try not to get too far into it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Josh. I'm going full Matt McMaster in the first 30 minutes of the show. But it all, and I get it, it parlays into the fact that, like, it's again like the Millard South problem, and everyone wants to talk about like the Millard South problem and all that stuff. I understand.
I actually don't want to talk about the Millard South problem
And okay, good. See, there we go. They played on Thursday night, by the way.
They played this week.
They did. They played North Platte.
Okay.
North Platte drove 300 miles.
Oh, God.
To lose to a Millard South team that will likely win the state championship. They still have to play the games, correct? But what did North Platte decide to do? They decided to come out and play the game for the opportunity to play high school football. Because a lot of those kids on that North Platte team that drove out all the way to the Omaha Metro to watch the fire dancer performers for Millard South and all that other stuff, and while the game got to 63-0 at halftime, whatever it ended up being, yes. Did they drive out here to essentially take a loss? More than likely. Yeah, right. But they still came out and played the game, did they not? The opportunity to play was what the responsibility is of high school athletics. It's not about I understand we want competitive balance. We just talked about how Class B has all these great rivalries and all these teams and I'm excited for those postseasons. I was excited to go to Omaha North and Bellevue West last night to enjoy high school football in a competitive fashion and watch two teams that are of equal footing compete and play against each other. That is exciting. That is what puts butts in seats in the stands. I get that. But in high school, sometimes you just got to let the kids get out there, play the sport, and enjoy their time playing the sport. Is it as enjoyable when you lose by that margin? No, it's not.
84-0.
But did they still get out there, and did they drive out, and did they choose to play a high school football game in which, by the way, Millard South doesn't have that many more left for them either. North Platte doesn't have that many left for them, but they chose to go out and give themselves an opportunity to go out and play said sport. There's no right answer in all this. Everyone has their own opinions. I get it. I completely understand that everyone is going to say competitive balance. It's different in Omaha. It's different from the other sides of the state and such. They being the NSA, trying to find all these different solutions and all these different things to make it work. But until we get there, I think we just all need to take the step back every time we see one of those scores, or we try to criticize a student broadcast, or we try to criticize how things are covered or how things look when it comes to our high school student athletes that are in this state. We have to take a step back and just say, what is the goal of what we are doing? And it's to provide an opportunity for young people to do something that they may or may not have had an opportunity to do at that school or at that opportunity or at the place they're at. I said this before too. I grew up in the Panhandle all the way out in western Nebraska. We didn't have soccer teams. We didn't have a swimming and diving team. If I was a great tennis player, which I'm not, to be clear, but if I was a great tennis player, the closest school that I could go to with a high school tennis team was Scotts Bluff, and an hour-and-a-half drive north of my home. It's not supposed to be fair for everyone to have the same opportunities, but man, they're trying, right? They're trying to provide the right opportunities for everybody. So, wow, look what you did. Got me all riled up.
Pay for the broadcast, and then they can do better broadcasts.
All right, let's get to Husker football. It's a Friday night football action. Let's take a break. I'll reset. I'll apologize. Went off on my high horse. Got all on the soapbox. My bad. Okay, hold on. Now I got to get back in this.
Did the chain get delivered properly?
The chain did get delivered properly. Okay, Mike in chat. Do you know anything about Lincoln High situation, Austin? Because I do, and you probably shouldn't crap on them. I didn't crap on them at all. What part of that did I crap on in any of that situation? The fact that Lincoln High chose to not play a game because of what they perceived as either competitive imbalance or whatever the case was, I am disappointed in the fact that Lincoln High didn't get a chance to be able to play high school football again, another opportunity for student athletes that chose to sign up for football and wanted to play. I understand the cause and concern that came from that contest, but I would have rather seen maybe a different type of solution in which they had in place where the team that they were playing, Millard South, had elected to not return any single kick, that they were going to have a running clock at each opportunity, because then the kids who were there to play football still got to play football. That's what I'm trying to get at. I just want more opportunity for these players to be able to get out there. I understand. All right, Mike, all that stuff. I'm going to let it be. I've said my piece. Let's move on. Husker football. We'll talk more coming out of the break here on the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone. Welcome back to Friday Night Football. Football, Josh. I'm football.
It's game day.
It is.
Act like it.
I'm ready. I got all that bad juju out of my system. You know, Matt McMaster had his soapbox moment. That was because of me and because of my own rendition. I think maybe that was karma coming around a little bit. I had to get all that, weight off my chest. But we are here for Friday Night Husker Football. And no better way to do it than on Friday, talking a little bit about your history lesson between Nebraska and Minnesota.
They said it couldn't be done.
They said it couldn't be done, indeed. So to be clear, you had emailed me, last night or yesterday afternoon-ish, and you had given me kind of the rundown, what it usually looks like for your guys' pregame shows, how it looks the day before when you get ready for a game. And you had said in there specifically, I don't know if you have time to go through the 1930s of the history between Nebraska and Minnesota.
Yeah, Connor likes to go back to the early years, and if he finds a good news clipping, I can break out my 1940s man.
Does he get really in the minutia of it? Like, is he looking up the box scores and such, or or is he just looking for the funniest headline?
He'll look for old newspaper articles.
I love that. Yeah. That's the tough part. We need libraries to make that huge come up when you could go back into the the dark rooms that they would have, and you could go through the old filters and stuff. Those are fun.
Put the old newspapers on that big wooden stick.
Yeah, they were the best. I love that. All right, so I did a little bit of deep diving, probably not to the same level as one young Connor Happer, but I do want a chance to be able to give you maybe some history in this. So let's start in 1911 and 1912.
Whoa.
What were you doing back then? What was happening in the world of Josh Hodson in the 19-teens? Nice. Very nice. So in 1911 and 1912, everyone remembers old Nebraska coach Ewald O. Stein because he had only suffered 2 losses during his tenure. And that was to the Minnesota Golden Gophers.
Go.
Very underrated Lincoln coach. People forget. So
he also coached the basketball team, yes.
Oh, wow. Good for him. I did not know that.
I might have been confused with someone else.
Okay, well, I guess we'll find out. Minnesota, the reason why Coach Ewald, however you want to say it, he had so much trouble with Minnesota was because Minnesota was using a revolutionary part of their offense in the 19-teens, talking about the Minnesota shift. That's with an F.
No, I was right. He coached the basketball team.
Okay, very good. Well, maybe he was distracted by too much movement on one sport than the other. So Minnesota had a precursor to what we would kind of deem the pre-snap motion. I looked a little bit into this. They did it was an adjustment of both. You remember how the old Dallas Cowboys would reset the offensive line, stand all the way up and get set in their line? It was something similar to that, but also Minnesota would move multiple players from one side of the line of scrimmage to the other. It was revolutionary because it was much like the Civil War back in the day, right? Like everyone would line up on 2 sides of a hill and just point at each other. Football was meant to not have no movement. You just go when this ball is snapped, all that good stuff. Well, Minnesota elected to start this precursor to pre-snap motion, and Stein wanted to do something more with it. So he stole the pre-snap motion, the Minnesota shift, and ended up winning 7-0 in 1913 over Minnesota.
Whoa.
Big win for Nebraska. Because of that, Minnesota coach Henry L. Williams discontinued the series after the loss because he couldn't stand that Nebraska had taken something from him. So would you like to break out your 1910s voice for maybe radio broadcast of Henry L. Williams, the big red overreaction, and we're tuned in to Henry L. Williams post-game press conference on his thoughts after Minnesota's 7-0 loss.
Old Stein really stymied us with the Minnesota shift. It was our move, and he stole it. They say imitation is the most sincere form of flattery. I decry nay.
Sorry, let me find my voice. Coach, this is Barry from the Lincoln Journal-Star. Would you say that you'd like to continue playing the Cornhuskers from this series on?
I say we steamroll the steamrollers. No, thank you. I say nay.
All right, thank you, Coach. That was Henry L.
I said
Williams.
good day.
That was Henry L. Williams on Big Red Overreaction from 1913. But not a lot happened. Obviously, the series then revisited back in the 1930s. After that, Nebraska and Minnesota had played for quite some time. But there was one notable, and this has been brought up this past week, about kind of the venom that comes between Minnesota football and Nebraska football, because it does feel like Minnesota takes this game very personally. And even the fan base of Minnesota has a little bit of extra bite to them when they play Nebraska. I was not around for this, but looking up the September 17th, 1983 scoring explosion at Minnesota, 21, 21, 21, and 21. No, not 9 plus 10, Josh. It's 4 straight quarters of 3 touchdowns for Nebraska football. The scoring explosion scored 84 total points at Minnesota, winning 84-13. And if you look at the big triplets stats from that day, Mike Rozier, 15 carries, 196 rushing yards. Turner Gill, notable Kansas coach, by the way, 4 carries for 100 yards. And Irving Fryer, 2 catches for 138 yards.
Whoa. 2 catches for 138 yards.
He did not play he did not have a catch in the next 3 quarters, by the way. And then it ended with 3 carries for 92 yards as well. 84 points. Nebraska just went up and down the field. And looking into this contest too, and looking back on it, the Minnesota play-by-play voice at one point, I wish that they had audio of this, but I found it in a press clipping, that the Minnesota play-by-play voice was begging Minnesota to stop blitzing because Nebraska just kept running past the blitz and scoring touchdowns. I wish that there was like a SoundCloud recording of that somehow to find what would that sound like from the 1980s radio broadcaster. Please stop. Please. PJ, knock it off.
I'm going to have to pour myself another drink. Just assume everyone was drinking in the booth back then.
Right?
I don't know why.
Yeah.
This is probably hard liquor in the 70s and it switched over to light beer in the 80s.
83, yeah. Was the 80s, was that like New Coke? Was that too soon? Am I way too early on that? Like they could have been sipping like New Coke and vodka in the
New Coke debuted in April of 85.
Ah, dang. So the Minnesota play-by-play voice was going, man, I wish there was something new and satisfying that I could try.
There was a new cola on the market.
I don't think anything resettles you for 84-13. But there inevitably had to be someone that was from Nebraska that watched that game and left going, I just don't know about our defense. 13 points.
Yeah, hey, first time, long time. Thanks for having me here on Big Red Overreaction. 13 points to that team? I mean, yeah, I guess 84 is cool, but I mean, down the road.
Doesn't defense win championships?
Yeah.
I mean,
that's where we built our bread and butter.
If Tom Osborne's ever going to win a national title in Lincoln, he can't be giving up 13 points to Minnesota. That's ridiculous. I can't believe
I've been watching Nebraska football since
Ewald O'Stein.
Jumbo Steam.
But I want to reiterate this. The insane stats. So Turner Gill averaged 25 yards a carry, and Irving Fryer had 2 catches for 138 yards.
2 catches?
2 catches. I mean, that's bonkers.
$1.30.
That is bonkers. I would love that. All right, Mike.
I thought about it, Mike, but I didn't want to set him off again.
So, Mike, I'll give you that, Mike. That's funny. He said 84-13 a Millard South score. That's good. But no one has ever called into Millard South there's never been Big Patriot overreaction, which is actually that's on True Social. That's a different.
Yeah, Big Patriot overreaction is just whatever Clay and Buck are doing in the middays.
But on Millard South overreaction, they would have the same result being 13 points.
13? Really?
Really?
I mean, West Side's probably going to score more than 13.
That's great. Good one. That's a great one, Mike. I like that. Mike, we're back to being friends. I appreciate that. All right, so that's your Minnesota history lesson. We got your keys to the game coming up here in just a little bit as well. But man, oh man, I mean, this Minnesota-Nebraska history feels more relevant with its recent history, but there's been this kind of continued conversation, especially I've noticed it a lot more with like bettors. Like you read about it in all those betting articles and what national people are looking at it, and they keep referencing that Nebraska has not beaten Minnesota since 2019. if you haven't been around this program at all, that stat means nothing. Am I foolish to think that? Like, I'm all for being like, oh, Nebraska hasn't won a midweek game or that was kicked off at 4:00 or later, whatever. And I know that stat is not real. I was just making that up. But the 2019 version of Nebraska to where they are now, yes, I will grant you that the 2023 season opening loss for Matt Rule at Minnesota in that Thursday night game to kick off his tenure in Lincoln, that was probably scar tissue that lasted through that 2019 streak starter to where Nebraska was then. I would even challenge you, and I could probably, off the top of my head, is there even a player of significant, I don't even want to say like value or importance, or is there any player that made impact plays or was a player in that game at Minnesota in 2023 that is still on this roster right now for Nebraska that will make significant and impact plays for Nebraska tonight? I don't know that there is.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you look up and down the roster, you look at the coaching staff too. Nebraska is a completely revamped program in multiple ways from that Minnesota game 2 years ago to where they are today, heading out for a Friday night game. And I understand, yeah, well, sometimes it's the mentality of the team, all that other stuff. I think we are to the point where you can firmly start to say, and who knows, maybe this is the game that other people start to agree with me too. This Nebraska team has a completely different mentality than what we had seen before. One of my biggest issues with Nebraska's roster from especially last season was they kept holding on to some pieces of veteran leadership on their team that had deep wounded scars on their personas, their egos, their belief in what could happen in the team. And I think that affected Nebraska's ability to either play big in one-score games, in games that they should have won, or to overcome mistakes that would doom them in those contests as well. We've already seen from Nebraska in back-to-back games that I don't believe that scar tissue is there anymore because these players haven't been a part of that history. You don't have Luke Giffords running around or Isaac Giffords there that have played in close one-score losses to top teams in the nation. You don't have that same scar tissue that lasts in your quarterback, your running back, your receivers. They don't know any better because they weren't a part of it. So bringing it up multiple times and saying, oh, well, Nebraska hasn't won in Minnesota and they haven't been able to beat PJ Fleck since 2018 and it's been since 2019 when the streak started. I don't think any of that matters for this Nebraska team because none of those players have those scars, even going back to 2023. The only person that does would be Matt Rule. Does it affect Matt Rule? I don't think so. I don't think so. Maybe his mind's been somewhere else this week rather than focusing on PJ Fleck. Maybe. All right, we'll get to your keys to the game coming up here after the break, and then Steven M Sipple at the top of the hour. We will have your Husker football predictions and hype speech, as well as your poll questions and what to watch here in the next hour and 20 minutes of the Connor Happer Show right here on 1620 The Zone.
Let's get back to the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
Here comes the clown.
All right. Time for some football on the Connor Happer Show, 1620 The Zone.
We like football.
Ready for some Dane keys to the game?
Clever. I like that.
Thank you. Yeah. No one's ever done that yet.
No.
Are you shocked to know that I'm the first to make that quip?
Not shocked at all. You're a comedy genius.
Ah, thank you. I appreciate that.
Remember that time you pranked Matt McMaster?
People forget I did prank Matt McMaster. People do forget. I feel like I owe him something.
Buy him a white monster. And then maybe he'll make the mistake with the white monster you bought him.
I should set him up for failure. Just provide as many white monsters as I can. That's actually not a bad. That's a great bid idea. Just get Gary paid more from Matt. Not a bad idea. All right. So keys to the game. Do you have any? Do you want to kick off, or you want me to roll? I'm good with whatever.
I think you should start.
Okay,
You're the guest.
All right. It feels weird, but it is true. I am the guest on the show. That reminds me. Our good friend Platcat. I remember when the Connor Happer fill-in host poll came out. Do you remember that? He listed you 3 times, and then I was 4th.
Okay.
I mean, I agree. When you have to do a solo show, that has to be. Do you feel like you're like in the pressure cooker in here? That's a lot.
It gets very warm in here when I'm hosting and producing, like a single mother.
Yes.
And inevitably, someone will not answer the phone during the break when I call them.
Yeah.
And then I'm kind of like, okay, well,
what do I do?
I can either play PSAs and call them back, or wait for them to hopefully call me back.
Yeah. Okay, so my first, and really this is my biggest key to the game, and it's lame and it's boring and it's very generic, but to me, it's the thing that's going to keep Minnesota in this game, or have a chance for this game to feel a lot worse for Nebraska in many ways. It's turnovers. It's the turnover margin in this game. Minnesota is very good at it. So far on this year, they are plus 0.4, which is whatever, on the season. But at home, they get nearly 2 turnovers in a plus margin at home than they do on the road. They're actually -2 on the road in games in which they have traveled. So playing at home is a significant advantage for PJ Fleck's team. And listen, I know a lot of people don't like the row the boat mentality and whatever it takes.
I do not. You're correct.
But the entire idea of rowing the boat means that everyone goes in the same direction. So if Fleck and his mindset, whatever, crazy cultish idea he has spilled into the Minnesota locker room that he tries to provide, if they have convinced themselves that, yes, we are not as talented as Nebraska, but we never have been. We cannot beat Nebraska in the trenches. Well, we'll find another way. Whatever it takes for Minnesota to find that edge, this is probably it. They are probably going to be hyper-focused on especially Dylan Raiola passing the football and forcing an interception to not only shake and maybe break his confidence, but then to force a back-breaking play. It almost cost Nebraska at Maryland, but if Nebraska can get either plus turnovers in this game or limit mistakes on offense, more likely, if this is a 0-0 turnover margin game, Nebraska wins, I believe. But even if Nebraska gives up a turnover, I still think Nebraska can handle it. It's when you lose your possessions to PJ Fleck, and it's why I asked Brian Christopherson of Husker 24/7 earlier, if this game was a matter of the early possessions and if Minnesota wants to try to limit the offensive possessions for Nebraska. That's football 101. The less times your opponent has a chance to score, the better off your opportunities are. But the realistic possibility is that it's not about giving Nebraska more opportunities to score. It's about making sure Nebraska doesn't get into a rhythm, because I don't think that Minnesota believes that their offense is going to be able to move up and down the field. They may have their opportunities too, but if a shorter field arrives and they're given the chance to be able to continue to kind of build up any type of momentum and success, they've won a lot of these games in this series, 13-10. One-score game, 17-10. They've won 20-17. They've been able to win games not only in PJ Fleck's tenure, but especially in the Minnesota-Nebraska series when it comes to some of these closer margins. So if you have a turnover not go your way, Nebraska does not have to necessarily fight tooth and nail to get a turnover themselves. You just can't let one mistake turn into 2 or 3, because if that flips entirely, I do think Nebraska slips against Minnesota. That's really the only big chance that I see Nebraska giving away an opportunity to get a critical road win at Minnesota.
Makes sense. I mean,
and I told you it's generic and lame.
It's also something you'd like to clean up from the last game.
100%. Yeah. And we talked about it with Bruns yesterday. We talked it with BC today, but it's one of those, if Dylan Raiola helps just a little bit and doesn't throw an interception in Big Ten conference play, if Dylan has 150 passing yards and a touchdown with no interceptions, that's a pretty good day for Dylan. Because that, to me, that means that he had made some of the cleanup mistakes from before. It also probably means that Nebraska's run game is pretty good. Because if he's only threw for 150 yards, that means his attempts are way down. So
I would think so, yes.
If that's the stat line, that means that Emmett Johnson had his revenge game. And if you want my next key to the game, it's really let Emmett Johnson go full monster mash on this, right?
Let EJ cook.
Indeed. And he's going to want to. If Emmett Johnson...
You got to know when to give the ball to somebody who's demanding it and when not to.
And I think at minimum, in this contest, I would say Emmett Johnson needs in total offensive touches over 25. Your line should be 25. Barring, injury, stamina, whatever the case is, I think you should have sat down EJ early into this week and just said, listen, this is going to be your day, and we want it to be your day. Don't make it bigger about everything else that comes with this. You can run angry, you can run hard, but we're going to give you flat routes, screen passes, running back dives, gap plays, whatever you want. But we're not going to change what we did against Maryland for Minnesota. It's the same game plan. We're going to rely on you to get those touches. And yeah, Mosey will step in and be able to take maybe a few of those touches here and there. But if you want to set the tone and the pace early, I would almost challenge Emmett Johnson to say, hey, finish this game by the third quarter. Maybe you should have your helmet off by the final 15 minutes.
Yeah, and then you can just kind of point at people in the stands and wave to them.
Do the
in the fourth quarter, yeah.
Throw the watch at them as much as you want to. I truthfully think that 25 is the line for offensive touches, because to me, 21 carries, 4 receptions, that sounds like a very healthy Emmett Johnson day. And if he gets over 150, 160 offensive total yards, I think you had a very, very successful day. And not only that, but it also means that I think you set the tone of the game very early. I don't think Nebraska needs to come out early and be swinging the ball around the yard and doing anything. Take advantage where your advantage is. That's also been another case against Minnesota. And it's happened with some Illinois games from past years when it was, the Frost era and all that. I know we just got done talking about those games don't parlay to this game, but don't let old trends creep into this contest. Set your tone early, get out in front, and make sure that you are setting what this pace of play is going to look like. If there's a version of this game where Nebraska comes out, receives the opening kickoff, throws 3 straight incompletions, never hands the ball off, and punts right away, right? That can happen in any sort of game. I think that this has to be almost a mandated responsibility of Matt Rule to look down the sideline right at Dana Holgorsen and say, Emmett Johnson needs a handoff on 1st and 10 at every single possession we have. Set the tone, get short field, and move quickly from there too. That's really it. I know multiple, you always want to do like multiples of 3 and be able to get people as much as like this insight. To me, this is a simple game, and maybe that's my final key to the game. It's just KISS.
Keep it simple, stupid.
Have to. It's not that much different, and I know Nebraska probably feels that way. They can look and highlight individual talented players and be like, oh, this guy's a game wrecker. Oh, this guy can make a big play. We got a defensive back who makes a lot of good turnover. He reads your eyes very well. All that good stuff. Drake Lindsey, you got to bring him down in the pocket. Nebraska has advantages at every single position group against Minnesota. It's not Akron level talent gaps, but it is talent gaps, and I think it is scheme gaps as well that Nebraska has advantages in. Keep it simple. You don't have to throw the entire kitchen sink into this game, but do use some of those in opportune times. You don't have to get tricky with it. You don't have to do anything weird on offense. Keep it simple and keep to what you've been doing, because it's been a winning resource. That means on 4th and 1, let's just, again, keep it simple. Let's not do some like jet sweep, backhanded shovel pass stuff. Let's getting goofy with it.
Great take.
Getting goofy with it. Also, if I can just add this, because I haven't been on 1620 to say this publicly, I know you and I share the same sentiment. Matt Rule, please use your timeouts appropriately in the first half. Please. Just like be cool about it.
Be normal.
You've been so good about it the past few weeks. So good. But if you go funky on it again with like the Akron game when you're just like, I want to review this, I'm going to use your timeout. It's like an incomplete pass on 2nd and 8 in the middle of the second quarter. Let's think about these timeouts a little bit. Let's think about it.
Just be normal.
Be normal. Also, here, Matt, I'll give you this. Every time you take a timeout, you know they're going to talk about the Penn State thing. So don't take timeouts. Don't take timeouts.
I didn't think about that. If he would go next level with it and like, okay, I have to keep Tim Brando talking about the game somehow. So I have to keep it like a 17-point gap. I can't win by 40 or else they'll just only talk about the Penn State thing. And I can't call timeouts because that's 30 seconds where they could talk about.
That's a realistic thing. Do you think
Matt Rule's crazy enough? And I feel like he's got the time to, tinker with that in his head.
If they're up 14 at the end of the third, he looks up and he just goes, we might want to keep it right here so they keep talking about the game. Yeah. Talk about the game, Tim. That's a great thought process. I hadn't considered that.
These are the things you have to think of when you're a CEO type head coach.
If I set the line at 4.5, lines at 4.5 for the amount of Nebraska players that Tim Brando mistakes for another player.
Boy, that feels high, but I have seen Tim Brando do a Nebraska game this year. Okay, I'll go low and if I'm wrong, so be it.
If I said 3.5, would you have had a tougher time?
Yeah.
Okay, because I was debating between the two. I thought 3.5 might. I know he's going to get 3, right?
Jacoby Blarney.
That's Gage Stenger. There he is. No, Tim. That's incorrect.
Heinrich Harney.
It's not terrible, actually. Adrian Martinez.
No, Tim.
Nope. Not even close. That's Ja'Cory Barney. Williams Wanawarum.
Yeah, okay. Isaiah Hunter's a tricky one.
Yep.
That's true. There is like
Daysan McCullough.
There is just getting it wrong, and there are the names that are hard to pronounce.
Right.
Okay.
Sea Air. Right.
I think he probably knows that one, right?
You'd hope. There's a couple on there that he should get, right? I'm trying to think the one that'll like get him the most confused. It's probably Winery, right?
I feel like if I remember right, he always says it. I think he says it right, but he puts like a twang on it, like Nawarney.
He just he hits the front end of it too hard. Nawarney.
Yeah. If I remember right, that's how he pronounced it.
Now, this would be a great one for a holding or offensive line penalty where he has to just guess. Rococo Spindler with the false start. He's a really great player at Notre Dame.
He's
with Devin Gardner, isn't he?
Yes. I've been at the bars in Lincoln, and they told me to go to the Rococo Theater. I think his family must own that.
Tim Brando doesn't get enough crap sometimes about he will throw in like a random thing he believes is true and has no way to know that it is.
Yep.
And that's actually probably perfect. Well, Will Compton and Taylor Luan had that show. They're bussing with the fellas at the Rococo, and Rococo Spindler. Their family owns that theater. Do you know that, Devin?
Been in the family for generations.
Devin just goes, "Oh, well, Tim, I wore number 98 as a quarterback once." Thank you, Devin. All right, 2nd and 2.
That is a booth where two people are trying to work in two different shticks instead of, hey, why don't we partner up and be like an Abbott and Costello team?
Devin Gardner is also when they're not. I remember they did the Farmageddon game a couple years ago when it was the snow globe game in Manhattan, and Devin the entire time just kept going, "Wow, the snow, Tim, the snow," and then he would go mute for 3 minutes because Tim was worried that they weren't getting out of that game. Well, I'm just worried about getting out of here. I don't know how we're gonna leave.
I'm going to tie a couple on after this. I'm not going to be able to drive home.
Oh, I love it. It's the best. Yeah, Plaquette, I agree. 3.5 would have been the better line. Dang.
Time.
Can't get them right every time.
That's
all right. When we return, we will have good friend of the program, Steven M Sipple of Husker Online, joining us. That's next on the Connor Happer Show, 1620 The Zone.
Steve Sipple,
The conversation gets even more uncomfortable, okay?
Omaha. Steve Sipple on the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
Connor Happer Show, 1620 The Zone, Austin, in for Happer today. I almost said in for Sip, but no, Sip is our guest. So, Sip, how's everything going? Where are you at today?
Who is this, please?
Austin Jacobsen, in for Happer.
Hi, Austin. How are you?
Did I throw too many names in there? I'm sorry.
There's a lot going on there. I'm here after a nap. I'm just kind of, when you get up from a nap, you're kind of groggy. Yeah. No, I got it. I'm ready to roll. Thanks for having me, Austin.
Yeah, happy to. Well, I have to thank Happer for letting me be here to talk to you, Sip. So you've acquired your nap. You're settled and ready. Do you take the early lunch, late lunch? What's the thought process as you get ready for Friday night in Minneapolis?
Yeah, I guess what I'm doing here, I'm going to do this interview and then go to lunch.
Mm.
Then take another nap.
You're double napping? What time did you wake up this morning?
Oh, it's been a rough 2 days I do my show. I had a kind of a long night on Wednesday, and then I did my show Thursday. I get up at 5. Got up at 5 this morning. So, they're kind of long days. But no, I'm fine. I was joking about the second nap. It'd be tempting, but I probably won't do it.
Okay. All right. Well, if you get to the stadium early enough, you could do the second nap. Now, I don't know if you care what people think of you, like judging in the media space, but you could put the head down and just take a quick cat nap.
Do I seem like the type that cares what people think of me?
No, Sip. No, I don't think you have to worry about that. Not at all. All right, Sip. So talking football here. What's kind of the feeling as you've had some time to kind of sit on it and everything? Let's start with the Emmett Johnson revenge game. Is that actually big priority for maybe outside of just Emmett? Is that a team priority, or do you think that is maybe just for him personally?
Might be. I think that can be something that drives someone, feeling slighted, if that's what you're referring to. I absolutely think that can be a motivator. I'm not big on negative motivators, but I don't know, you could almost spin that into a positive motivator. So I think Emmett is poised for a big night. Here's the thing about Emmett, though. Now that we're talking about it, this is the first time I've really, really thought about it. He's always really motivated. He runs so hard. People get tired of me saying that, but every carry, he carries it like it's his last one. So I don't know how much different it'll look, Yeah. He's the kind of guy you want on your team. He's probably the MVP of the offense. So I imagine he'll look like that type of player tonight.
All right, Sip. So then on that kind of same note, too, I had asked this from one of our guests earlier, and I kind of presented the question for the show. But with everything that's kind of transpired from Sunday to yesterday, is it kind of nice that the team is on the road and they got out early on Thursday? They had their practices, they had all that stuff, and they're kind of away from Lincoln, away from kind of the extra noise that's been coming into the program just with the Matt Rule, Penn State, all that sort of extra stuff. Is it a good thing that they could be on the road to avoid those type of distractions away from their home facilities?
Yeah, Austin. I think there's something to that. I think that makes sense too. I often believe that about going on the road. Now, they were on the road last week too, but I think that just going on the road it sounds weird, doesn't it? But it tends to minimize distractions in general. It sounds kind of weird to say that, but home games, there's more distraction or people around that I don't know. Tickets used to be an issue. I don't know if that is still, but yeah, I mean, you're sequestered, right, in a hotel. That's why I'm in the hotel. Maybe think about it this way. Minnesota is in the hotel I'm at. They're the home team when they're in a hotel. You move your guys away from things. and some of that is just to focus. So yeah, I do think that can be good for the team.
All right, and just kind of following the same trend as talking to guys from this past week, and just getting kind of a feel for it. I had asked a couple of guests from yesterday and today. Is there a part of the Minnesota side of the football when it comes to a position group, a certain player that has a significant advantage over what Nebraska will present tonight?
No,
okay.
Not that I can think of. And there might be something in special teams I'm aware of, but no, there's definitely not. Nebraska has a decided advantage in this matchup, just from a pure matchup standpoint, but also Nebraska is a better team talent-wise. So no, it's sort of a tricky conversation because Minnesota's defensive numbers aren't bad. If you look at their total defense and scoring defense, top 30, top 30. So someone might say Minnesota's 27th in total defense and 28th in rushing defense. So somebody might say, Sipple, what are you talking about? Nebraska's not going to be able to run on them. Well, Purdue ran for 253 yards. So I think the stats are kind of misleading because Minnesota's schedule's been light, other than Ohio State. So, no, I mean, I've looked at Minnesota closely. I've listened to people talk about them. I don't think they have a decided advantage anywhere.
Okay, so what about then? I don't know. It's just this game is very interesting to me because it feels, and I agree with you, that there's not those significant talent gaps, and it's not even like a couple position groups that you would point towards Minnesota and say, there's the advantage, that's how they can win the game. But yet there's also something about that PJ Fleck mentality that they're going to find a way to find, a crack or a wrinkle and be able to break it wide open for this contest to remain closer than what I think Husker fans would be comfortable with. So is there something that you've seen from Minnesota in their past games and maybe even their losses that leads you to believe that there's a version of this that can stay within a score or two, especially when you get into those critical moments late in the game?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it sounds cliche, but they are well coached. They do force turnovers. Okay. That's the thing. They force 10. They get takeaways. They traditionally have, and they don't beat themselves. So yeah. Listen, I've picked a blowout. I have, but I get it. I get that I'm kind of going out on a limb on that regard. Minnesota, come on, man. PJ Fleck is 6-1 against Nebraska. He has Nebraska's number, but here's the thing, Austin. I'm not that sort of trend. I'm not that impacted by. I mean, there's just too many guys that 6 years ago that weren't involved in any shape or form in that. So that trend is not. I don't dismiss it completely. I just don't weigh it that much. But to answer your question, yeah. What if Minnesota? What if it's -3 again in turnovers? What if Nebraska's -3 like it was last week? And Rule pointed out you have a 7% chance to win in that scenario. If it's -2 even, I'd get nervous.
Yeah.
But I don't. I'm just kind of counting on. Here's what I'm counting on: that Dylan Raiola has five interceptions in the last 3 games. I'm counting on that. He's very mindful of that, and that he's got to take a little bit better care of the ball. When Dylan does that, he's good. He's really good. There'll be a point in this game where it's tough, and I'm just kind of counting on him to respond.
So in that same sense, I had presented this earlier too. Is there a version of this game where Dylan maybe has a lower statistical day, either because they're trying to limit those opportunities for Dylan's mistakes, or because Emmett is having such a big day? Or do you think it ends up being a more balanced performance, kind of like what we saw statistically minus the interceptions last week?
Balance. I expect balance. I expect a lot of yards and a lot of points because I think Nebraska will be able to move it both on the ground and through the air. Now, if you really wanted to pin me down on this, I think I'm not convinced that. I don't think rushing yards will come as easily for Nebraska as they did last week. Minnesota, I've only watched Minnesota for a half, but they're more physical than Maryland. And Dana Holgerson alluded to it. It's a different, what he says, they're a different body type. The yards will not come as easily for Emmett, but I think he'll run for over 100 is my guess. So I do think it could be a big night for Dillon. I wouldn't be surprised if he throws for 300 plus and 3 touchdowns, something like that. Wouldn't be surprised. In fact, I kind of expect it.
Okay, so then my follow-up to that is, if you expect a big passing performance, does that mean that one receiver has a significant day? We've kind of seen this trend where it's a receiver has maybe a quiet couple of weeks, then has a breakout game or 2 solid games back-to-back, and then another receiver will kind of sit back for a week or two and kind of go back. Does that mean the cycle resets, and is this a Ja'Cory Barney big game?
It could be. I think defenses they're really focusing on Ja'Cory. The way I look at it, if you just look at those guys statistically, I think they're pretty even. So it's kind of hard. The hot hand has been Isaiah, even though I know Dane had more catches last week. I guess what I'm telling you is I don't think it's easy to pick out one guy that's going to go off. That's good. It'll be one of those 3. You can say that pretty confidently. But if I were to guess, though, and that's what you want me to do, I'm sticking with Hunt. Hunter seems to have the hot hand right now, so to speak. His speed is a separator, and they can. Hey, listen now. Minnesota, like this overall athleticism in the back end and the secondary is not very good, and I think if he or Barney have the best chance to exploit that.
Okay, so not to keep putting you on pitting some players against each other, but I just crossed my mind that for all the conversation about 2 facets of this game, on offense or defense, I haven't really thought too much about some of the special teams performance. And maybe not Ja'Cory Barney returning the ball, but more about Archie Wilson, Kyle Cunanan. Which one of those guys needs to have maybe the more solid day or even an exceptional day to make sure that this game doesn't get weird and PJ Fleck finds a way to, make this game closer or upset Nebraska?
I think Nebraska will be in the end zone a lot of the time. So I'd say Archie.
Okay.
He just needs to be solid. Don't let them, Don't let them win the special teams. Are we worried about that anymore? I'd say not. No, there's no. I'd say Archie, but it's mostly just because I think Nebraska will find the end zone. I don't think they'll be kicking a lot of field goals.
Okay, Sip. When it comes to, we saw last week, Nebraska had a couple of big game-breaking plays, whether it went for them or against them. The pick 6 from Maryland, obviously a couple more interceptions. Then Nebraska had the big Isaiah Hunter reception, all that good stuff. And they've had some of those big plays over the past few weeks. If Minnesota is able to limit Nebraska's ability on the big plays, whether it's offense, defense, or special teams, does that keep them in the game if Nebraska can't break off a 20-plus yarder or a big sack or turnover?
Yeah, that would be something. There's ways Minnesota can stay in it. And here's the thing about Minnesota. They have a head coach who manages games as well as anybody I've seen. He'll have a very good plan. He'll have a very good plan. A very good overarching plan that I imagine is, designed to keep Minnesota hanging around, and then try to pull something off late. I think that's what the type of game Minnesota would have to win. And Fleck can put together a plan now. I mean, he's one of the best in the business, in my opinion, and he's been obviously very good against Nebraska.
Okay, Steven M Sipple of Husker Online joining us today. Sip, do you have a prediction for us before we let you go?
Yeah, I have an irresponsible prediction. I'm going. I don't know why I was maybe influenced by a couple conversations I had with guys that I trust, and I went 42-13 on Nebraska, which is that's pushing it. I do think it'll be that type of game. I think Nebraska. I think they're due. I think Nebraska's kind of due for this type of game. It's mainly a matchup-oriented discussion. This is a good matchup for Nebraska, and that's what you always look for. So, yeah, I think they'll win easily.
All right, Sip. Appreciate your time. Have fun out there in Minnesota, and safe travels back.
Austin and Josh, do well in Happer's stead. I appreciate it.
Yeah, we appreciate you. Thank you, Sip. That was Steven M Sipple of Husker Online joining us today from Minneapolis. He sounded a little sleepy. He did wake up from a nap. So.
Yeah, he had just taken a nap and was really wanting another one, whether or not he was actually going to do it.
Did you wake him up from the nap when you called?
Okay, great question. I don't know. I'm starting to think yes.
I'm kind of wondering if I should have asked that. So I probably should have, because it's he immediately when he said, "Who am I talking to?" That should have been a good indicator of, oh no, what have we done to this man?
There was a good deal of energy when he picked up the phone and said hello, as if it I'm just kind of now piecing this together as if it was kind of a yeah, this is Sipple.
Is there any way to answer a phone when you are awoken by it that doesn't sound like you were asleep? We've all tried, right? Like you've slept in through.
Hey, you got to you got to lay it on real thick, like,
right.
Oh, hey, how's it going?
J-Man in chat.
Hi, J-Man.
Austin, son of Kugler, filling in for Connor, son of Sipple. It's still AM radio and all good.
You do look like you could be Kugler's son.
I have gotten that more and more as I've hosted on this station. And it's a very, very great compliment to get, obviously.
Sure. You're taller.
Am I?
I don't know.
Oh, that would have been cool. I was really hoping that was true. I don't want to look down at Kugler. But it's a nice compliment to have. And as someone who wants to get back into kind of the play-by-play of the radio broadcast, true radio at its finest, you can't digitally call games. No one does that.
Kugler has a strict no eye contact policy with everyone who works here and with him at Westwood One. So
really?
You don't worry about looking down to him. If you worked with him, you would have to look down.
Why does he not look at people?
It's a power play.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. That's very interesting. Can't wait to meet him and try to, maybe I'll hit him with I'll look at him not in the eyes, but at his ear, really throw him off. Give him that firm handshake, but like look to the side. I'll do it in chat right now. So I look over here instead of like looking right at, so it just really weirds people out. That always gets people.
I can see why.
It's a bit goofy.
It is.
All right. When we come back here on the Connor Happer Show, who's ready for football predictions and who's ready for a hype speech? I can't wait.
Yeah.
Seeing it live in person. Grunting the Slate was fun yesterday. This is what I came for. That's next on the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone. this is my favorite intro bit.
Yeah, you like this one?
I do like this one. It's simple. It's nice. The beat's good. It sounds very serious, too, which it is a serious topic because it's Friday Night Football. Football!
Game day. Who?
Who's ready for football? All right, so we've got Husker football predictions, we've got college football predictions, and a hype speech coming up right here on the Connor Happer Show. And I'm ready for it all. I'm just ready to sit and absorb because, like you mentioned yesterday, this is my first football season Happer Show fill-ins.
That's right.
Shout out Connor Happer for being in California.
Shout out to whoever is getting married.
Yeah, that guy. He was golfing yesterday.
I think he's golfing today, too.
Good for him. Big golf guy.
Yeah.
Big golf guy. All right, I'll let you lead us off. Unless, do you want me to run down, or how would you like to handle this?
I could probably handle it.
All right. I'll follow your lead, good sir.
Okay, we pick the biggest games of the week each and every week here on the Connor Happer Show. We're letting Austin play.
Can't wait. So my picks don't count as Connor's picks, correct?
Correct. Connor has sent me his picks.
Good to know.
You can make your own picks. I'm making my picks. I don't know where we stand. I don't know who won last week or any of that stuff.
That's for the birds.
Yeah. Connor will update us next Friday. It's a long season. Plenty to go.
Thank you, Connor.
We begin in Nashville. Number 10, LSU. At number 17, Vanderbilt. 11 a.m. ABC. The Commodores, a 2.5 point favorite. Austin, you're our guest. We'll let you go first.
I am in love with Diego Pavia.
Whoa.
I love him. And in fact, if Bryce Young is not tall enough to ride the Carolina Panthers ride, I wouldn't hate having Diego Pavia be my NFL quarterback.
He would have to leave college for that to
eventually,
happen. You know that, right?
Eventually, he will have to leave college, right?
I'm not so sure he will.
And when people call him the Brett Favre of college football, I don't always know if that's a good thing because Brett Favre also was too old for the sport in which he played at the end of his career. Here's the thing is I trust Diego Pavia in actually big games because he always finds a way to motivate himself. The game is not in Death Valley, but LSU, I never like them in an 11 a.m. game. There's something about LSU getting up early and not being able to handle some of those early momentum shifts and stuff that comes out. Vanderbilt has the chance to kind of pour it on early. I don't think LSU has the offense to keep up with Vanderbilt. The LSU defense is very good. 2.5 is a great line for this. Vandy covers. That's my thought, my opinion.
This really goes against the logic in my head and tradition, but I am also picking Vanderbilt here. LSU's offense is kind of sneaky putrid.
Yeah.
Difficult spot for them against a Vandy team that's, going to kind of really want this game, right?
100%.
Connor picked LSU.
Okay. Well, I'll say this too. Is that not the worst TV affiliation to this game? I don't like this game being on ABC.
ABC, what would you prefer it to be?
I think is this not a I know they don't have CBS broadcasting rights, but this them being on ABC doesn't feels
like a CBS game.
Right. It feels like and I'm probably
Burns sitting there.
Yeah, I probably just have to get used to that a little bit. All right, so we have 2 on Vanderbilt, 1 on LSU in that one.
Yes. Oh, okay. I am logging your pick, so I have to type Vandy. Okay.
Vandy. Yep.
Game number 2, an even bigger game in the SEC. Ooh. Number 5, Ole Miss, Lane Kiffin and them boys in Athens to take on number 9, the Georgia Bulldogs. College Game Day will be there, 2:30 ABC. The Bulldogs, a 7.5 point favorite.
Mm-hmm.
Austin, what say you?
That's a very big line, and I think 7.5 is a lot of points to be able to hold on to this one. I would take the over in the game if you're just strictly betting.
Okay.
I love Trinidad Chambliss. I think he has been one of the best surprises in college football. Also, Ferris State fan. Division II football is kind of my thing. When it comes to, old UNK. But I think the bigger issue in this game is Lane Kiffin. And for whatever reason, sometimes their offense always seems to score some points in games like this, but does not seem to be able to get the plays necessary to win. I think Ole Miss plays from behind the entirety of the game. Georgia kind of controls it. I think they win outright, but something tells me that Ole Miss kind of backdoors this a little bit and maybe covers the 7.5. So I would take Georgia outright.
Okay. Connor also picked Ole Miss. For me, I really like Ole Miss. I think this is the best team they've had there under Lane Kiffin.
Yeah.
But I also feel like I've seen the Rebels lose this game every single year of my life.
Yep.
Ole Miss gaining momentum, top 5. Here we go. This is the big prove it moment for Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss, and it runs down their leg. Dogs at home give me UGA here.
Okay. I dig it. There's also something about this game being at 2:30 that makes it seem like the Lane Kiffin lost a game in the afternoon that I forgot about game. Because he doesn't seem to lose the game at night. He always loses the mid-afternoon game. Because that's what, like the LSU or the Florida Ole Miss game from last year, that was at like 2 or 3 in the afternoon, and it completely slipped my radar until the next week started. I went, they did lose that game. Yeah.
Good point. And it could kind of get crowded there in that midday window. Right?
Oh, yeah.
Another important SEC game tomorrow, kind of a separation Saturday in the Southeastern Conference.
Indeed.
Number 11 Tennessee travels to number 6 Alabama. The Tide, an 8.5-point favorite. 6:30 ABC. Austin, your pick.
Ooh, okay. So this is tough. As much of a fan as I was in Joey Aguilar's first 3-4 games in the Orange of Tennessee, I am not a fan comparative to what Alabama's defense could do to him now, because Joey loves throwing a turnover. He loves a turnover.
This is a fact.
That's like an Arby's right out the drive-through type of day for him. I think that you could say that you could force 3 interceptions on Alabama, or Tennessee will throw 3 interceptions, I should say. I like Alabama a lot in this game. Not to say that I don't like Tennessee. I think they are a bit of fool's gold comparative to some of the other top 10 teams that are in the conference. In fact, I even still like Missouri more than I like Tennessee. I'm going to take Alabama on the points in this one.
Connor took Bama as well.
Front-running Connor.
Like the last matchup there between UGA and Ole Miss, I feel like I've seen Tennessee lose this game every single year of my life as well. So I am also taking Bama, which means Tennessee will win outright.
Yep. Look at us.
6:30 NBC. It is not a Big Ten Saturday night, but it is a Big Ten team playing on NBC on Saturday night.
Yep.
It's a Notre Dame home game. Number 20 USC at number 13 Notre Dame. The Irish, a 9.5-point favorite in what could be the final game ever between these two teams. Surely cooler heads will prevail.
Hopefully.
Austin?
Okay, so maybe it's just been my personal ride or die with this program, but USC has consistently surprised me in most of their performances so far this season.
Yeah.
I thought I was very impressed with how they handled at home against Michigan last week. The Illinois game, I thought it was completely slanderous that everyone had written them out of that contest so much. So back on the last week of September, and they have put together a pretty solid resume. Jane Maeva is one of the best quarterbacks in the country that's not getting as much of the publicity and talk on this side of the country. I'm sure in California, he's probably being upgraded to Heisman level status, but it hasn't reached here yet.
They love talking Trojan football in the LA market.
My biggest question is, who needs this game more? And with Notre Dame, this is their last notable contest that they have that they can appease to keep a college football playoff bid going. At 9-3, Notre Dame's not getting in, and they would need a ranked win here against USC to kind of prove that, okay, if we go 10-2 and we lost our first 2, probably our last chance to get there. I think the more desperate team is actually USC, and I'm going to take USC outright.
Whoa!
I really like USC in this contest, and I think regardless of what your belief is in the 9.5 on Notre Dame, which is way too high, the lines have always been way significantly outrageous compared to what USC's talent level is and where they have played. I know it's a road game. USC is used to traveling. It's not like they haven't been to the Midwest before this season. I really like this game, and they get the advantage that it's a night kickoff, giving them more time to travel, rest, prepare, all that good stuff. I'm taking USC.
Connor took USC as well. I feel like USC can hang on offense. They will score enough to cover, but the Irish win outright.
Okay. All right. Now we go to...
that was 3 USCs, right? Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so we go from the Catholic school to the Holy War.
That is correct. Big noon kickoff in Provo for number 23, Utah. A 3.5-point road favorite at number 15, BYU, 7 o'clock on Big Fox.
This game is one of the more confusing to me and maybe the biggest toss-up for me on the entire college football slate for the entire weekend. I love Utah, and I have all season long when I do my Big 12 text talks with Matt McMaster, my best friend on 1620.
Obviously.
He and I have discussed about where that Big 12 should be, and it has changed significantly since where the season began. But Utah being 3.5 favorites on the road in a rivalry game, I think is as much as 3.5 doesn't feel like it's that much. It feels like it should be 1.5. I just don't understand how you can look at this game and not say complete push on either way. As much as I like Utah, there's something about the line being that tricky that I think I have to go BYU in, I guess, what's an upset. Even if you asked me a week ago, I would have picked Utah, but just complete vibe shift has me thinking BYU.
Connor took Utah.
Okay.
This is perhaps the most underrated rivalry in America in terms of intensity. Provo played great host to the Reavers last week, so give me the Cougs to cover here. I'm going BYU.
Okay, I like that.
Which leads us to tonight's contest between Minnesota hosting number 25 Nebraska. I deleted.
Hold on, they're ranked?
Nebraska ranked, not ahead of Cincinnati though. Austin, I deleted the Word doc that had the line
7.5
on it. 7.5.
Yeah.
The Huskers are favored tonight. Connor has taken Nebraska. He has given me no score prediction. He has done the exact bare minimum.
Okay, let me start with a question.
Okay.
Have you been surprised at the amount of guests we've asked today that have said at least a 20 or more point margin victory for Nebraska?
Yes.
We got 242 or 40 something to 13s. One from Bryan Munson, one from Sipple. I don't remember BC's. Was he somewhere in that range?
I feel he picked a cover.
Yeah,
if I remember
I think
right.
he said cover.
Not as big a blowout as
Right.
Sipple's, obviously the prediction that comes to mind. But yeah, normally you have the guys that work the beat in one way or another. They're like, well, Nebraska always plays games close. The PJ Fleck has Nebraska's not. There wasn't any of that.
Nope.
There's a lot of Nebraska's going to do what they're expected to do tonight, which would be rare. Yes.
Very rare. Very rare. And especially under Matt Rule, it's not always been, especially against Power 4 opponents, that, hey, your team is much better than them. You should beat them by this margin. They're always a little bit closer. So what is the margin in this game? We talked about it in the keys, preparing for this game, turnovers, all that stuff. This game is going to get weird at some point, right? Like there's going to be some weird punt return or a blocked kick, and maybe it's weird for Nebraska's favor. Maybe it's weird for Minnesota's favor. Every time I close my eyes and I think about this game, it never gets weird for Nebraska's benefit. There's something about this game and the way PJ Fleck gets ready for Nebraska, knowing that he doesn't have the talent, that he doesn't have the same margin for error, that they can create more confusion on Nebraska's side to create more problems. 7.5 feels very confident. I almost want to take Nebraska just 21-14 or 24-14, somewhere around there for my prediction. If this game was in a video game vacuum and we're playing it on EA Sports, college football 26.
They should do that.
I think that you would get Steven Sipple's and Bryan Munson's score prediction of 42-13. I think that this ends maybe not as confident as what Nebraska fans would like, which has been the general consensus in Big Four or the Power 4 conference games. I'm going to say Nebraska wins it 27-19, and they do end up covering.
Okay. There you go. Just one thing left to do then. You ready for a hype speech?
I'm ready to see this in person.
Well, there's not much to see because it's pre-recorded.
That's all right.
But here we go.
Okay.
Distractions. They're all around us. You, listening to this right now. Do you have any distractions at your place of work? Maybe your kid's an annoying little prick. Maybe your boss is a fat slob. Maybe the person you love most is nagging you. What? Poking. What? Prodding. What? Henpecking. What? Cajoling. What? Badgering you to do this and do that until you can't take it anymore. And what do? Do you fold like a cheap card table? Hell no. Do you go out for a pack of smokes and never come back? Hell no. You do what Matt Rule and those players are doing this week. You strap in and you take the challenge head on. You stay golden. 'Cause the job ain't finished yet. Matt, If you want to leave us, you're going to have to win with us first. Because tonight, we're going to a place we ain't won a game in a decade. It ain't the big house. You're not going between the hedges. It's freaking Minneapolis. Come on.
But Josh, we can't win in the surrender whites.
The clothes don't make the man. We have to shed this loser mentality.
But Josh, Nebraska hasn't won back-to-back road games since 2006.
Shut up, nerd. This team is different. This team plays together. They've got each other's backs. And tonight, we got Emmett's back.
But Josh, Nebraska can't run the ball and has a pair of tackles that should be drawn and quartered as the worst players to ever play the position.
9th most yards in the country. Top 20 in touchdowns. What more do you little pissants want? It might be time to reconsider your position. Because Emmett can play. He can play in the Big Ten. He's set to put on a show in his hometown against the team he dreamed of playing for since he was a boy. The team that didn't want him, didn't call him. In high school, he played 9 miles from U of M. Didn't get nothing. Emmett, use that pain tonight. Because it's your night to show them what they missed, what they could have had. Get off the track. Because tonight, there's a freight train coming. Ski-you-ma? More like B-U? Nah. Nebraska 34, Minnesota 21. Breaking ore off in Goldie's ass.
Come on! Football! Who's ready to run through a brick wall with me? Let's go!
I love that.
Can we kick it off now?
Oh. Give me the 6 p.m. kickoff. DB right now. Give me all of them! I love it. Perfect way. Wrap up. We've got your poll questions, what to watch, coming up here next on the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
The Connor Happer Show. Follow us on Twitter @Happer Show for all the latest news and views. We may even say something interesting once in a while.
Unlikely.
Really, guys?
Many people in chat are saying that they are fully husked.
Really appreciate that.
Yeah.
Was a little down on the hype speech this week.
No, you're a national treasure, and you proved it again.
I thought last week's was quite good, so I was a little disappointed with this week's.
Well, I think you're hyper focused on EJ, getting him ready for this. Will you send this to him? Will you tweet at young Emmett?
Oh, I have a strict don't tweet at players policy.
What about in positivity?
I mean, yeah, this is something that he might enjoy.
Right. Also,
especially if that's exactly what happens.
Right. Before we get to poll questions, what to watch and wrap up with the unsportsmanlike conduct crossover coming up, do we have breaking news that potentially Nebraska could be wearing surrender white pink out jerseys?
They have been teasing this for days, and really today they've come out with the pink shoes. So we know they'll be wearing those. There was a game day graphic where the N and the stripe on the helmet appeared to be pink.
Yeah.
But that could have just been a lighting trick. Like I'm not sure what they're doing tonight.
Yeah. So wait to find out.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to poll questions. Not many today, I don't think. We had a few. Or did we only have one? Did we only have the
Just
one today?
a singular poll question.
Oh no. Okay.
Yeah, it's
all right,
game
let's hear
day.
it.
We've been very busy.
We have been. And we also had White Monster Gate at the beginning of the show. So there was that too. Yeah. So what do we got?
One poll question today. Would you bet your nipples on a football game?
That honestly, if you're gonna have one poll question, that's the one to have.
It's a banger.
Yep.
82% of the audience obviously said no. Why would I ever do such a thing?
Yeah. Can you imagine anyone who voted yes? That'd be insane.
The most confident you've ever been on a football game. Would you still bet your nipples? No, probably not.
Yeah, you're right. I would never vote yes.
Right.
I would never. Not me. Not me. All right. What's to watch for the evening? Is there anything going on tonight?
Just a couple things. I guess I'll read them to you.
Okay.
Playoff baseball. Blue Jays, Mariners, 5 o'clock FS1. That series is tied at 2 somehow. Game 6 would be Sunday night. Brewers, Dodgers, 7:30 tonight on TBS. The Dodgers lead 3-0. If necessary, Game 5 would be tomorrow. I don't think they're going to need one tomorrow.
Why do you mean that?
Just that I think the Brewers are going to get swept.
No, not the Brewers.
NFL this weekend here locally in Omaha. These are the games you're getting. You're getting Raiders Chiefs noon Sunday CBS.
Raiders.
Noon on Fox will be Eagles Vikings. Your 3 o'clock game Packers Cardinals on Big Fox, and your Sunday night game in San Francisco as the Falcons take on the Niners. College football tonight. Louisville. Clev Lubin and them boys taking on number 2 Miami. 6 o'clock tonight on ESPN.
Only way Nebraska gets their thunder stolen tonight is if they pull off that upset, right? Like if Louisville finds a way.
Yeah, I would think so. San Jose State at Utah State, 8 o'clock on CBS Sports Network. North Carolina at Cal, 9:30 on ESPN. Sometimes after a big Husker game, I find it hard to calm myself down. So North Carolina Cal is the perfect thing.
That is a great nightcap.
It's like a warm glass of milk.
Notable ACC rivals, by the way.
That's right.
Cal and North Carolina.
What do you think, Bill? That they had to sit down and tell Bill, this is a conference game. You know that, right, Bill? Just want to make sure you know. We were pretty sure you knew, but someone said we should ask.
Just to be clear, this is the All Coast Conference. In case you didn't know when you signed up 6 months ago.
Tomorrow, big noon kickoff in Provo for the Holy War. College game day in Athens for Ole Miss, Georgia. Your guest picker is Jelly Roll. How'd they get Jelly Roll to say yes? They will also have an exclusive interview with James Franklin. A lot of volleyball this weekend. Number 1 Nebraska touring the state of Michigan. They're in East Lansing tonight, 6 o'clock BTN Plus. They're in Ann Arbor Sunday at 1 o'clock, also on BTN Plus. You will need ESPN Plus to watch Creighton volleyball this weekend. Number 13 Jays at St. John's tonight at 6, at Seton Hall 12:30 Sunday. Both those games on ESPN Plus. Basketball
pink out game for Sunday as well.
That is correct. Yes, thank you very much. That's I'm sorry. Do I have that backwards? That's home? That's a home game for Creighton.
Both are home games.
Both are home games. I'm
Both are
sorry.
home, yep.
I apologize. That's on me. I'll take the L there. Basketball, Iowa State, Creighton tonight, 7:30 on Nebraska Public Media. If you're an idiot, the real call is right here on 1620 The Zone. Shootout with my boy, Austin.
That starts at 6.
That's a 6 o'clock start.
Bang.
We go inside the CHI Center at 7 with John Bishop. Tip at 7:30.
KB.
That's right. BYU Nebraska, they're playing basketball noon tomorrow.
Well, they'll try to play basketball.
BTN Plus for that one. And
imagine
finally,
not getting a Nebraska Public Media broadcast for your exhibition. Ha!
All right, there might be something. Something non-sports to watch this weekend on Peacock. It's called Downey Wrote That. The hour-long documentary explores the sketches, contributions, and enduring influence of Jim Downey, one of the most impactful comedy writers in the history of SNL. What happened was they did all these behind-the-scenes interviews for the 50th anniversary, and this is a true story. They would ask these high-profile comedians, hey, what was your favorite skit? And blah, 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 blah. Yeah, Downey wrote that. So they're like, why don't we just compile all these stories into one, extra documentary about one of the writers for us?
That's pretty cool. Yeah. That's a good way to go about that. Yeah, that's a good way to do that.
Yeah.
Rather than cramming it in with everything else.
Yeah.
Here you go, Downey. And also, way to use the last name, because surely no one will think it's for someone else or something else, correct?
Well, Iron Man wrote that. Okay, yeah, I'll check that out.
Or DJ. And then one person goes, the guy who played Charlie Chaplin? That guy? Oh, I love that guy. All right, that's what to watch. That's been the Connor Happer Show. Thank you for having me on. Glad we had some fun.
Thank you for pranking Matt McMaster.
Listen, let me be clear when I say this, and not to get one last punch in on Matt McMaster while he's down, but it's really not that hard.
All right.
On that note, the crossover with Unsportsmanlike Conduct is ahead. Thanks for listening, and GBR.